And welcome into week number 2 of prep football here on Tubetown, brought to you by Ritter Communications. Tonight we are coming to you live from Munford, Tennessee at Dr. Sid Witherington Stadium, home of the Munford Cougars. Andy Maness and Ryan Short here with you. Ryan, tonight the Munford Cougars try to pick themselves back up after getting kicked in the teeth in game 1 last week. They'll be taking on Millington Central tonight in the M&M Bowl. It is the Armed Forces Bowl, and so we'll quickly give you a brief overview of this game, and then we'll turn things over to our announcer here in the booth as they've got some special a special ceremony that they do here at the beginning of every M&M Bowl. But again, it's great to be here on this Friday night and have both of these communities come out here to Munford and pay tribute to the Armed Forces.
Yeah, absolutely. Last week we had the privilege of calling that Munford-Covington game where Covington came out on top, pretty much a landslide win for Covington. But this week, Munford's back on their home field. They're looking to rebound. And, this M&M Bowl, it's something that we've covered for the last few years. 2 years ago being here, if you remember, a light drizzle. It was never lightning or anything like that, but it made for pretty sloppy conditions on both sides of the ball. So definitely tonight, between the Trojans and the Cougars, obviously last week Trojans came out. They got the 1-0 victory last week, and I know that through the season you look to gain endurance, to gain certain personnel. So this M&M Bowl, it's not something that they're just going to bat their eye at, but I'm preparing for a really high-octane matchup tonight.
Yeah, it should be a lot of fun to watch, as these two teams always are. And paying attention to the temperature. The temperatures, may come into play. We may have some pretty good weather here this evening, but it's awfully hot. We know Millington struggled with some cramping issues last week, and kickoff tonight looks like it'll be just a hair under 90 degrees.
Yeah, that's something Coach Chris Michael, knocking off the training wheels here, so we're going to get this going, all right? The Trojans last week, their head coach Chris Michael, so something he had to address last week at the end of their game was cramps. In the first half, they had some of those first game jitters, but fortunately they were able to shake it off and get the win last week. So look for them to continue that momentum into this week.
All right, we're going to turn it over to our PA announcer here momentarily as he's going to go through the pregame ceremony. Again, we're here tonight for Munford versus Millington. It is the M&M Bowl.
Reserve and retired military personnel in this area. This game is dedicated to the men and women of the United States Armed Forces all around the world, past, present, and future. We would like to thank everyone in attendance, especially those who have served and currently serve in the armed forces. Please stand and join us in observing a moment of silence in honor of those who could not join us tonight due to answering the call of duty and those who have paid the ultimate sacrifice serving the greatest country in the world. Thank you. Now entering the field on the 50-yard line, Patrick Smith of Covington will be enlisting in the Navy as an E1 bosun's mate, shipping out September the 17th, 2018. Aiden Baird of Munford, E1 Aviation Electronics, Electrical and Computer System Technician, shipping out October the 2nd, 2018. Anthony Hilbert, also of Munford, an E1 Aviation Aerographer's Mate, shipping out June 11th, 2019. Quentin Morris of Covington, E3, a nuclear technician, shipping out October the 9th of 2018. And Justin Ansley of Millington, an E1 and cryptologic technician, shipping out January the 7th, 2019. What you're about to witness is the oath of enlistment This signifies the affirmation of these recruits' willingness to serve our country in each of the respective services that they are entering. Federal law requires everyone who enters or enlists or re-enlists in the armed forces of the United States to take the enlistment oath. The oath of enlistment is administered by any commissioned officer to any person enlisting or re-enlisting for a term of service in any branch of the military. Tonight, the oath of enlistment is going to be administered by Lieutenant J.G. Joe Knoll of Fife, Washington. Ladies and gentlemen, a big hand for our new recruits. The practice of guarding national and service flags, known as the colors, on the battlefield is a practice that precedes even the founding of our nation. Tonight, the MHS Marching Band will be performing the national anthem, and a color guard will be attending. The earliest military color guards marched in the battle as an honored part of their regiments, using the colors to inspire, guide, and rally their units. Today, the tradition of safeguarding our national and organizational colors is ceremoniously upheld by the color guard. Comprising this detail are members of the United States Marine Corps parading their service color and the national ensign, while two Marines bearing rifles are flanked in formation. This guard renders the proper customs and courtesies while posting and retiring the American flag. This honor tradition shows respect to our nation and those who have served it. A salute will then be rendered by lowering the service color while holding the national ensign high. Tonight's detail is comprised of as First Rifleman Lance Corporal William Pleasance of Collierville, National Ensign Sergeant Kersey Haynes of Starkville, United States Marine Corps Colors Corporal Hayden Moore of Memphis, Second Rifleman Lance Corporal Matthew Jackson from Collierville, Tennessee. Special thanks to Bridge Company C of NASA Mid-South, Millington, Tennessee, for providing tonight's colors detail. Entering the field tonight's captains for your Cougars, number 26, Baker Osborne, number 60, Francisco Hernandez, number 68, Chris Farrell, and number 70, Paul Kinneman.
Welcome you back to Dr. Sid Witherington Stadium, home of the Munford Cougars. Again, Munford hosting Millington Central tonight, and you're watching it right here on Ritter Communications Tubetown. Thanks for joining us on Facebook. We're going to go ahead and take a quick break. When we come back, we'll continue this pregame ceremony and go ahead and talk about the captains out on the field as well, because they're getting ready to do the coin toss, it looks like. But we're back here in a moment with more on Tubetown. Welcome back to Prep Football here on Tubetown. Andy Manus and Ryan Short here with you on this Friday evening. Thank you so much for joining us here on our Facebook page. If you haven't already, go ahead and like our Facebook page. Make sure you keep up with everything we're doing here at Tubetown. But tonight, it's all about the M&M Bowl. The Munford Cougars hosting the Millington Central Trojans, and both teams getting ready to make their way to the center of the field, or the captains, I should say, making their way to the center of the field. But again, it's the Armed Forces Bowl. Both teams paying tribute to the military tonight. In fact, Munford has got their special jerseys on, where they got the digital camouflage and the numbers. Had a little trouble reading the numbers, if I remember right, a couple years ago, but it looks like they're red this time. They're not that gray digital camouflage, so a little bit easier to read tonight.
Yeah, that's going to be something that I guess you will hear us struggle through the night. The numbers on the back of the Munford Cougars jerseys are a little bit difficult to read right now. Looks like captains for Munford are going to be Baker Osborne, Francisco Hernandez, Chris Farrell, and Paul Kinnaman. And I believe that came across for Millington is going to be Kyle Lindley. I believe that was Zeb Marvin, as well as Caleb Macklin. So they're going to be the captains that go out and take the coin toss here and figure out how we're going to kick this thing off.
Of course, Millington coming into tonight's game already matching last year's win total. Second game of the year. They won their first one last week against Bolton. Had to come from behind to win that one, but pulled it out 21-13. And again, coming off a bit of a building year last year, if you will. Only won one game. And just averaged over just a touchdown per game. So you got to think that Coach Chris Michael and the Trojans are excited about what they did last week, and excited about what they could possibly come into Munford and do tonight in enemy territory. They haven't beat Munford in the M&M Bowl since 2014.
Yeah, last year for Millington, they had a rough go of it, only going 1-10, like you said a second ago, matching their win total of last year. But that's one thing, when you talk to Coach Chris Michael, he's going to say he still has a young bunch out there. For the most part, you're looking at senior leadership at a couple of the key positions, receiver, running back, that being with like Eddie Macklin and Jafonso Smith. They're going to have a key contributing fact, but his starting quarterback tonight, we're going to see Tommy Clifton out there. He's only a junior, so something that you would hear echoed in the locker room by Chris Michael is he's got a young bunch, and they're going to go ahead and they're going to be able to compose themselves and try to get their feet about themselves to start the 2018 season.
We still got about 5 minutes left before we get set here for the opening kickoff. Munford has won the toss. They have deferred to the second half, so that means when we come back, Millington will be receiving the opening kickoff here tonight in the 2018 M&M Bowl. So once again, you are watching the M&M Bowl here at Dr. Sid Witherington Stadium, home of the Munford Cougars. You're also watching Prep Football on Tubetown, live local from Ritter Communications. We welcome you back to Munford, Tennessee here on Tubetown. Andy Manus and Ryan Short ready to bring you the opening kickoff of the M&M Bowl. And there it is, Millington back deep to receive. It's a knuckler that'll go out of bounds right about the 5-yard line. Pretty good Tim Wakefield impression there.
I think so, and I believe we saw something very similar to this last week, how the game started. Obviously, miscue right off the bat for Munford as they come out, but I really hope this week that Coach Markle has got to talk to his team about composing themselves, and it would be huge for them to come out here in their first defensive possession and be able to get some type of stop on the ball, because we know last week they had a hard time of it going up against Covington.
Well, they absolutely did. Covington was in full motion last week as far as the first half went, carried that momentum into the second half. Obviously started the second half with a turbo clock, so looking to, as you said, make an impact here on the first defensive play of the game. So meanwhile, the Millington Central Trojans, Tommy Clifton in at quarterback. He'll take the snap, fake the handoff to the man on the end around, and instead it's the back in the backfield who will get taken down for a loss. That's Jerfonzo Smith, the 5'10 senior. And he is stopped. It is now 2nd and 12 coming up for Millington.
Yeah, I think that was big number 90, Max Laugru, on the tackle there. He sort of led the attack for the Munford defense, being able to hit him at the line of scrimmage and back him up a few yards. So, look, I know that's something that both coaches are going to preach, knowing how they both started games last week. They're going to come out and have a lot of energy here to start this football game.
Clifton takes the snap, looking to throw down the far sideline. Got a man at the 40, caught, leaning forward to about the 44-yard line. A nice pickup of close to 10 yards. Should be 3rd and 1 coming up for the Trojans, and they're not going to take any time getting back on the football. They're ready to go. Clifton looking to the sideline. He's waiting on the play. A couple of substitutions in there at guard, or maybe the tackle rather, it looks like. Again, it'll be Smith in the backfield.
That's something we're going to see, the style of offense that Millington's going to run tonight. It's going to be a hurry up and wait, hurry up and snap the ball, just keeping the momentum and the tempo of the game at their fingertips.
Fakes the handoff, tossed over the middle, right into the hands of a Munford Cougar. He's at the 40, dodges a man at the 35, at the 30. Foot race to the finish with a convoy ahead of him, 5-yard line, and Munford is in the house to open this M&M Bowl with a touchdown.
How about that? We talked about it just moments ago, getting the momentum in the start of the game. Just come out with your foot on the pedal, hammer down, just like that, 7 points. They're already starting out better this week than they did last.
What a pickoff from the middle linebacker, and extra point attempt is coming up. Tommy Clifton just lofted that one a little too high there. Extra point is down on the way and looks like it's far left, and it is. So can't hit the extra point, but the Cougars are on the board early here in the first quarter of the M&M Bowl. 6-0 is your score. Munford over Millington Central. You're watching Prep Football on Tubetown, live local from Ritter Communications.
No, that's not audio. This is audio.
Welcome back to Munford, where the Cougars have capitalized early here in the first quarter against Millington Central. A pick 6 by Jesse Savage. Tommy Clifton threw that right into his hands, and Savage got an early Christmas present. Short kick will bounce on the far sideline, just on the other side of the 40. And I believe that one went out of bounds, as did the opening kickoff, right?
Yeah, that's something we saw last week, the pooch kick to the far near side. Essentially what's happening is they've got those upbacks on the far side, and if they can get enough momentum, typically on the return team there's not a lot of men in that area, so it gives them the opportunity to recover that ball. It's not necessarily an onside kick, but it's definitely an opportunity to change the momentum. Of course, it's a double-edged sword, though. As soon as you kick it too far, you don't place it just right, you're going to end up with great field position right here for Millington.
Trojans wasting no time getting out on the field. They're ready to go again. There's the snap from Clifton. He's going to take a shot down the far sideline. Caught at the 45-yard line. His receiver falls to the ground, and he'll pick up about 7 yards through the air there. Now 2nd and 3 coming up.
I believe that was Zeb Marvin on the reception right there. He that had a ton of zip behind that ball. You can tell that Clifton was not happy about that last INT, so he made sure that last ball was on the line, because if you notice the interception he threw, he tried to have a little bit of touch and float it between the free safety and the middle linebacker, and it just sailed on him a little bit.
2nd down coming up. Option play. Clifton going to keep it himself. Somehow is able to wiggle through the gaps there at the line of scrimmage. He'll pick up a couple more yards. Should be 3rd and 1, maybe 2 coming up.
It'll be a long one right here, and you can tell that repass option that we saw last week. It's very similar to the Munford offense that we'll see here in a little bit, that you hold it in the gut of the running back just for as long as you can, and right there a little bit of indecisiveness. Fortunately, Clifton was able to fall forward for a couple yards.
Jerfonso Smith standing to the left of Clifton. Got 1 tight end, 3 wide receivers. There's the snap. Clifton's going to keep it himself, running to the outside at the 45-40, 35-30 down the far sideline. 1 man left to beat. He's going to make it in the end zone, and how about that? Tommy Clifton taking about a minute off of the clock here in the first quarter, and he evens things up against the Munford Cougar with that run.
Yeah, you can tell he was definitely frustrated after that last pick, and he did not take any chances there. A good 34-yard scamper. I believe I have my numbers wrong there. We're going to get that correct, but just absolutely made 1 man miss. He got down to the sideline, and he was able to just leave everyone else in his dust.
So now the Trojans will attempt an extra point here. That's Rafat Morsheed out there getting ready to attempt the extra point. Looked like he snuck it through, and he did. So the Trojans will take a 1-point lead early here in the first quarter. Boy, only 3 minutes, nearly 3 minutes, gone off the game clock here in the first, and already we have got an exciting one for you folks.
Andy, you better buckle up. This is going to be a fun one.
Absolutely. Step aside for a quick break. You're watching Prep Football on Tubetown, live local from Ritter Communications.
It's all the rage.
There's no end to your online possibilities with up to 100 meg internet speeds. Only from Ritter Communications, right by you.
Andy Manus and Ryan Short welcome you back to Munford. Again, follow us on social media on Facebook and Twitter. Search for Tubetown Online. Munford and Millington here in the M&M Bowl. Millington just scoring on a 54-yard touchdown run by quarterback Tommy Clifton. Now they kick it off, and it will be returned to about the 45-yard line. We'll get the correct spot for you here in a minute. But Millington threw an interception, a pick six on the opening drive of the game, turned back around, and it only took him 3 plays to find the end zone.
Yeah, I mean, just the resiliency right there of the Millington offense, and specifically their quarterback, who we've seen for the last couple of years, Tommy Clifton, officially a 54-yard touchdown run. Read option there he kept for himself, but now we're going to get to see this Munford offense that we saw last week, head started by Adele under center right now.
So Jashawn Adele with 2 backs, 1 on either side of him and 1 in the backfield. Handoff will be taken about a yard, and now 2nd and 8, and it's very reminiscent of what we saw all week, or all night last week, I should say.
Yeah, big number 22, Noah Robertson. He's going to be taking to most of the reps under center, or excuse me, at that up back, and they also will rotate in and out. That'll be number 36. I believe that is Nate Meters, I believe.
Adele, and flags thrown, play stopped. I believe we're going to have a false start on the Cougars, and referees seem to indicate that as well. So they'll back it up 5 yards, and we'll have a 2nd and 13 coming up now for Munford. And, you know, we didn't really see too many penalties in the game last week between Munford and Covington. It doesn't seem like I can recall very many happening, but I do recall Munford just struggling against that defensive front that Covington had. I mean, they were packing 7 guys in the box, and they defended the run very well last week.
And that's something they're going to see all season. Any defense that they're faced, they're going to have, I mean, just the style of offense that you run here, it's definitely going to be a ground and pound, and you're going to have to work for every single yard that you can get.
Another run up the middle for the Cougars. They'll get back to the original line of scrimmage, so now 3rd and 10 coming up.
Something we didn't see them do at all last week is put the ball in the air. I'll be curious to see now that they've got the 2 wide out system going in right now if they'll transition to any passing plays tonight.
Adele got a wide receiver on either one of them. Man goes in motion to the right side. Flag comes out, and a little collision there. Don't know if that was friendly or a little competitive there between the tailback and Reggie Caldwell of Millington.
He just had to let him know he was there. He that's something that with this defense, what they teach their corners is as soon as they see the back on the opposite side of them, the near side corner is supposed to crash instantly. And so that's simply he knew his assignment there, and it never hurts to let somebody know where you're at, even though it may be a little bit forceful.
False start is a penalty, so 3rd and 15 now. Another man goes in motion, fakes the handoff up the middle. Adele will take it outside. Shimmies past one tackler and makes his way just shy of the 45-yard line. Looks like, Ryan, they're going to spot him at about the 44, but we've got a 4th down coming up.
Yeah, good 9-yard pickup there. Unfortunately, they've got those 2 false starts that go to their credit. You see right here, good read option. He sees that defensive end collapse right there. That was going to be number 20 who, I mean, he's following his assignments, Devin Knight, and it looks like Munford may be going for it here on 4th down, at least giving him a hard count.
Now Munford, 4 penalties so far in the game. Almost drew a defender offsides with the hard count. Now Adele looks like he's going to get a check down play from the sideline.
Yeah, we saw a little bit of a movement there between the D tackles, but they ended up staying true.
So now Adele got the audible call, sends a man in motion. Fakes the handoff up the middle. Adele keeps it himself, makes it past the 50-yard line, which was the line to gain, and he'll move the sticks. 1st and 10, Cougars.
A good another 9-yard pickup right there, and you can see that tonight, Adele's got a lot more confidence with the ball out there than he did last week. I think he got a little bit rattled at the start of that game last week, and he's come out these first 2 possessions, and you can tell he's confident with his reads, and whenever he does keep the ball, he's hitting the hole very hard.
He does look a lot more comfortable than last week versus the Chargers. 6:40 left to play here in the first quarter of the M&M Bowl. Sends a man in motion. Hands it off up the middle. Nope. Lost it on the exchange on the option. Ball is on the ground, and Millington has recovered it. Adele was trying to run an option and looked like he took just a little bit too long trying to yank the ball out of there, or maybe the tailback tried to hold on to it too long. You'll see it here on our replay right there. On the exchange is where the ball is lost in.
I believe that was number 41 for the Trojans. Hunter Lucas was the one that ended up recovering the football for the Trojans, so they're going to have good field position. And unfortunately, as we talked about last week, I mean, that's the threat of this style of offense when you have a first-year starter in there, the indecisive, the read. There's a lot of trust and there's a lot of feel that goes into these types of plays that they're calling. So hopefully that momentum isn't just absolutely snuffed out there.
Trojans will start in Munford territory at the 49-yard line. 6:27 left to play here. Munford, you hate that for them. They had a little bit of momentum going there, converting that 4th down. Something they didn't get a lot of last week. Tossing that one out. It'll bounce it at the 20-yard line. Well over the head of the intended receiver, Eddie Macklin. But boy, if he had caught that one in stride, there might not have been any catching him.
Yeah, pregame they're out there. They're practicing that exact route. And really in sync, but when you get in game speed, momentum, adrenaline, everything kicks in, and that ball just gets a little bit more air on it than it did. But I mean, if you're going to throw it somewhere and you're going to miss for Clifton, that's the place you want to miss. You want to miss long, lead your receiver too much, because as we saw earlier, it can lead to a pick 6.
Puts Smith on his right hip, takes the snap, looking to throw to the left side. Got a man in the flats, caught at the 45-yard line, and Eddie Macklin will pick up about 5. Now 3rd and 5 coming up.
Yeah, simple outright here to the near side. Threw it a little bit behind him, so he lost his momentum, but great catch right there to be able to keep possession. And I mean, if we're talking NFL there, he would have had the ability to get up and possibly get a few more yards after the catch.
So 3rd and 5 coming up. Clifton's got the play. He's looking at a 4 wide receiver set with Smith here in the backfield. They are 1 for 2 on their 3rd down conversions so far, with 1 turnover. Make that 2 turnovers possibly. No, Clifton able to fall down on top of it. Facing the pressure, nearly coughed it up again on 3rd down.
Carson Robertson there for the Munford Cougars was able to get back there. The D, and you see him the near side, got a hand on him, but it just, you could tell that was dead from the beginning. And I don't know how Carson got a hand on that ball, but that could have swung the momentum just as quickly back in favor of the Cougars if they would have been able to recover that one right there.
Yeah, Clifton lucky to fall on top of that one because the Cougars could have easily scooped and scored there. That will bring up 4th and very long here for the Trojans.
I think that's going to be for a loss of about 20 yards, so if they pull out their binoculars, they may can see the sticks.
21 is the official count as it's now 4th and 26. 3rd and 5 a moment ago. 1 man back deep to return for Munford. Josh Allred ready to punt it away. Pretty decent punt. And it will bounce, it looked like off of a Trojan just inside the 40-yard line. So decent field position for Munford. Their 2nd time out on offense.
Yeah, I believe that was Kelton Mason back there, number 11 for the Cougars. And you could see that he waved for the fair catch, and he was still near the ball whenever it was hitting the ground. But, I mean, in those types of situations, you got to be yelling Peter, 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 and have all your teammates on the same page with you to get away, because that ball can easily kick opposite direction. If it hits into you at all, that could turn ugly really quick.
So 1st and 10 for Jay-Sean Adale and the Cougars. Ball on the 37-yard line. 1st and 10 coming up again. Adale under center. 2 wide receivers, 1 on either side of him with 3 backs in the backfield. One of them will go in motion. It's a run right up the middle. Pickup of about 2 yards. And again, Munford will just kind of chip away at the defense there. Saw Covington guard that very well last week. Put about 7 guys in the box every single play. And did a pretty good job of containing those tailbacks for Munford.
Yeah, I'm having trouble reading the numbers right now. Who it is? I believe that may be Hurd. Big number 35 for Munford that's out there taking the snaps right now.
Faking the handoff up the middle and a run to the right side. Brought down in the backfield is Travion Hawkins. Nope. Check that. Make that Jesse Savage. Again, it's the digital camouflage. Again, it's a little hard to read from up here.
Yeah, just
maybe I was wrong about the red numbers at the beginning of the game.
I'm not sure if they switched jerseys from last year, but it's definitely it's difficult to see.
So now 3rd and 9 coming up. Seven guys in the box again. Fakes the handoff up the middle. It's Adale running to the outside. He's at the 45-yard line, tripped up as he falls forward. Didn't quite get enough for that 1st down, but it's going to be a short 4th to go.
Yeah, this is the same territory they were in earlier that we saw them come out and they got up to the line quickly and did a hard count, and we saw some movement on the goodness, words are hard right now, on the Millington line. So look for a similar play call right here to try to create some movement on the front.
4th and 1, they've got it spotted coming up. Hands it off up the middle. No, Adale's going to keep it himself, running between their right tackle and right guard, and I believe they stopped him quite short.
Great effort, though. Just a team effort all around right there for Munford. I mean, I think they ended up gaining a yard, but it's going to be a yard short. But what you saw right there, as soon as Adele, he handed off, and he instantly just grabbed his back and tried to push him forward, and unfortunately it's not looking like it's going to be enough.
Are they asking for the chains here? I think it's pretty short.
Someone lost a shoe on that play too, I believe. We're going to see Devin Knight on the sideline trying to buckle that one back on.
And they are going to bring the chains out.
While we have a moment, I'm going to take a minute to thank tonight's sponsors for the first half. W&W Home Builders, Drango, Hometown Realty, the town of Atoka, and Homer Skeleton Ford of Millington. Without our sponsors and without the men and women working on our crew tonight, we wouldn't be able to bring this broadcast to you. So thank our sponsors and thank all the people that are here with us today.
Big thanks to those great folks. It was a turnover on downs for Munford. About a yard shy of that line to gain. So now it'll be 1st and 10 for Tommy Clifton and the Trojans once again. Had to punt it away there last time after Clifton nearly fumbled it on 3rd and 5. Let's see if they can replicate that second drive of the night. They scored in 3 plays.
I like the mentality they had on that last possession, though, stretching the field. They're sticking to the ground game like you see here, but then also stretching it deep, too.
Smith making his way to the second level, and he's got an extra burst of speed as he gets inside the 15-yard line. Brought down from behind by a couple of Cougars, but what a move to make his way through the pack there in the middle of the field, as you'll see on the replay here. Takes the handoff, and he dodges maybe 2-3 tacklers here in midfield.
Yeah, a good little 33-yard pickup. As you see, he got to the second level, and I mean, I would say 9 of the 11 Munford defenders had their hands on him at one point during that run, but he was able to get a nice little chunk of yards out of it.
Jerfonzo Smith makes it 1st and 10 from the 13 now for the Trojans. Millington Central in the red zone for the first time tonight. There's the snap, fakes the hand off to Smith. Clifton going to keep it himself, lowers his shoulder and tries to bowl over the defender. He stood him up though, and he might have gained a yard.
Yeah, we got a flag right there around where we typically see a holding penalty. I believe Chris Farrell, one of the captains that we saw tonight, is going to be guilty of that. He just grabbed too much of that jersey when he was trying to just secure that hole for his quarterback there.
So they'll back it up 10 yards from the spot of the foul. Now they're outside of the red zone. 2:03 remaining here in this first quarter of the M&M Bowl here in 2018. So
Andy, what's your call right here? You're 1st and 20. You can get a first down without getting a touchdown, but you got to think here they're going to do a play action pass or keep something on the ground, at least get a chunk of those yards back right here.
I'm calling play action slant route. You
Okay.
got the spell back in. Johnny Maddox is in the backfield alongside Clifton. Sends a man in motion, fakes the handoff. Play action slant over the middle, but it's incomplete.
If you would have been out there, you would have completed the pass or made the catch, right?
One of the two.
Okay.
One of the two.
I mean, you called it out perfectly. They had the little misdirection with the slot back coming to the near side here. Just keeps the linebackers off balance just a little bit. He was able to open up that hole right there for Corey Smith, but he just wasn't able to reel it in.
More of a post route than a slant, but close enough for an amateur play caller up here. Most experience I have is Madden and NCAA.
That counts.
Certainly. A minute 23 left to play here in the first quarter. And again, it's Maddox who is still back in the backfield. There's the snap for Clifton. Looking to the left. Has to escape pressure. Somehow makes his way past the line of scrimmage, and he's going to turn nothing into a little bit of something. Picks up a couple of yards there, and now 3rd and still long coming up.
Yeah, we'll call it at least manageable here. I mean, you have to gain yards right there on 2nd down. If you're staring down the barrel of 3rd and 20 with the field position, you started in Munford territory with the ball, but you just have to make this manageable right here for a 3rd down.
And with 46 seconds left to play here in the first quarter, we have got a timeout on the field called, I believe, by the Munford Cougars. They've got 2 remaining here in the first half. Of course, Millington still has all 3 of theirs, but we'll take a quick break alongside with them. You're watching Prep Football here on Tubetown, live local from Ritter Communications.
Advanced Pools, where your pool is our pool. Here at Advanced Pools, we have been serving the Mid-South for over 25 years. We design and build beautiful custom pools and spas, and we pride ourselves in transforming your existing pool into your dream pool. We offer a full line of services, maintenance, and in-store supplies. We take pleasure in creating the backyard living experience that you and your family deserve. Have an idea for your backyard oasis? Give us a call at 837-7867. Visit us online at www.advancedpoolcare.com or come see us at 201 Commercial Drive in Atoka. Advanced Pools, where your pool is our pool.
Welcome back to Dr. Sid Witherington Stadium, home of the Munford Cougars. Cougars have to play some defense here on 3rd and long, trying to keep Millington out of the end zone once again. The Trojans kind of shot themselves in the foot a couple of plays ago with a holding penalty, and now it's 3rd and 17 coming up. Play action. Clifton rolling to his left, escapes the pressure, throwing to the end zone. Tipped up and incomplete. Good defense that time by the Cougars. It was pretty much 2-on-2. You had 2 white jerseys down there, 2 gray jerseys in the end zone, but how about Tommy Clifton avoiding the pressure here in the backfield?
Yeah, that's Carson Robertson again, just trying to put on the pressure there, and a great throw downfield, at least giving his receivers a chance just to jump ball that, I mean, 9 out of 10 times no one's going to come down with that, but that's the chance you have to take, and I believe what we're going to see here is a field goal attempt by Millington.
Well, we've got Rafat Morsheed back out onto the field to kick this one, try to kick this one through the uprights.
He's going to have to put some leg behind this one. I'm not sure if we'll see someone this year that can knock down a field goal from this distance.
It's roughly, what, 35 yards or so?
35, 36. It's somewhere in there. We'll see.
36 seconds left to play here in the first quarter. There's the snap. Kick is up. Oh, and with the help of the upright, it'll bounce through. How about that? 36-yard field goal is good, and the Trojans have now taken a 10-6 lead here in the M&M Bowl. Take another look on the replay. We'll get back to that replay later. In the meantime, we're going to step aside for a quick break, and we're back with more action. You're watching Prep Football here on Tubetown, live local from Ritter Communications.
I am the new Reese's Outrageous Blizzard only at DQ, and I live up to my name. I am Reese's Peanut Butter Cups and Reese's Pieces Candies. It's 2 kinds of Reese's in one Blizzard. Plus, brace yourselves, caramel. Outrageous! This is an outrage! Who's behind this? Does DQ know about this? Psst, of course we do. Because I'm not fast food. I am fan food.
And we're getting ready to
36 seconds remaining here in the first quarter of the M&M Bowl, Millington Central and Munford. Score is 10-6. The Trojans just booting through a 36-yard field goal off the foot of Rafat Morsheed, and that has made it a 4-point lead here for the Trojans. Here's the kickoff taken by Jashawn Adele. Adele right up the middle, and he's going to take the Cougars back to about the 45-yard line. Not often you see the quarterback in there returning kicks, but Jashawn Adele obviously has the athleticism to do so, and he gets them off to their best field position here so far of the night.
Yeah, they don't call him a 5-tool athlete for anything. So if you're with us on Tubetown online right now on our Facebook page, we'd just like to thank you for stopping by. If you saw that impressive 35-yard field goal right there, obviously score 10-6 right now, Millington. Just want to give a few shout-outs. Timothy, Terrace, Kevin, Anna, Carol, Sandy, thanks for stopping by. Janet, I see that you posted right then as well. Thanks for stopping by with us and giving us a moment of your Friday night to bring you some prep football from Tennessee.
Certainly appreciate it. We do this for you guys, and of course the guys out on the field as well. 1st and 10 for the Cougars. Handoff goes right up the middle across the 50-yard line, diving out to about the 48. We'll call it maybe the 49, actually. They're going to give them a right foot spot, it looks like. But it's a no-huddle offense here for the Cougars. They're back on the ball. 2nd and 4 to go. 8 seconds left, and now they're going to
back it up and get it back in the
back to the huddle, and
they're going to take a breather for a second. We're going to run this out to the second quarter.
That's right. So after the first 12 minutes here in Munford, the Cougars trailing to their rival, the Millington Central Trojans, by a score of 10-6. We're back with more here the second quarter. You're watching Prep Football on Tubetown, live local from Ritter Communications.
The kind of comfort you can always rely on. The hard-working performance that gets the job done. The dependable equipment that never lets you down. The tried and the true. Here's to reliability built into everything we do. Rely on Root. Get reliable comfort year-round with a new efficient HVAC system installed and serviced by our experienced professionals.
That's what I've got.
Welcome you back to Munford here at Dr. Sid Witherington Stadium, home of the Munford Cougars. Andy Maness and Ryan Short here with you, bringing you the 2018 M&M Bowl here on Tubetown. Millington leading this one 10-6. Ryan, we talked a little bit about it in the pregame. Millington got a chip on their shoulders, so to speak, as they haven't won this one. Had to go all the way back to 2014 to find the last time the Millington Central Trojans beat the Munford Cougars. In fact, it was the last time that Tubetown didn't cover this game. So Tubetown is got a little bit of a Munford streak going on here.
That's quite a record going back, and I know something that both coaches are going to be echoing here in the second quarter is just composure and keep grinding. This has been a good start to the football game, and we don't need to don't have silly mistakes like a false start here on the first play of the second quarter.
And by my count, I think that's the 5th penalty called on the Cougars so far tonight. Had a couple of illegal procedures tacked on there in the first quarter, had a couple of offsides, and now their 3rd offsides penalty called here in tonight's ball game.
Yeah, they're racking up the penalty yards so far, but
yeah, that'll be 1st and 10 coming up, or yeah, 1st and 10 coming up here. Sends a man in motion, hands it off up the middle. Hurd is going to get, it's Toby Hurd on the carry. He's going to pick up about 6 maybe. They'll say 5 yards on that carry from first down. So now 2nd and 5 coming up.
yeah, and he ran right into Adels. He was going through the line right there, so he instantly started with his momentum being tampered with a little bit, but he was able to bounce it out and get a few yards.
And looks like we're going to have a timeout called on the field, and it's going to be a timeout from the Trojans. So with 11:14 left to play here in the second quarter, Millington Central wants a timeout. Their first of the first half, each team with 2 remaining here in the final 11:14 of the second quarter. We're going to step aside with them. You're watching Prep Football on Tubetown, live local from Ritter Communications.
Southern Lawn and Pest. Our goal is to provide our customers with healthy, weed-free lawns, athletic field management, and pest-free homes while maintaining the highest level of customer service guaranteed. We use state-of-the-art products and equipment that are proven to deliver the results you want. Give us a call today at 476-8188 or visit us online at www.southernlawnandpest.com and let us help you get the lawn you've always wanted. We have an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau, and you can find us on Angie's List. Southern Lawn and Pest is the athletic field management provider for Munford High School football and is a licensed, bonded, and insured company.
Back here at the M&M Bowl here in 2018 on Tubetown, and very excited to once again be bringing you this game. 2nd and 5 after the timeout from Millington. And I hand it off right up the middle and pretty much going nowhere. So it'll be 3rd and 5 coming up. Just a big pile collapsing on the ball carrier there.
Yeah, something we're seeing from Millington too is that because of the style of offense that Munford is running and the uncertainty of who has the ball, every play you're going to see Adel, you're going to see the up back, you're going to see basically any person on the field that could potentially have the ball is getting a full-blown tackle, and it's causing for a little bit of uncomfort for the offense.
Saw Travion Hawkins go in motion there, trying to get a read on the defense, and now Adel looks like he's going to check down. Hand off up the middle. No, Adel keeps it himself, trying to find some room on the outside. He's got it across the 35-yard line, down at the 32. And once again, Jayshawn Adel will move the chains for the Munford Cougars.
Yeah, he's going to be able to pick up the first down, and he had it back to his right there for the option play. He elected not to pitch the ball right there and keep it himself, knowing how many yards he had to get to the sticks and be able to get the first down. And
Adel calling for a substitution came out of that pile, tapping his helmet, asking for some relief, and so it'll be Jackson O'Neal, the sophomore, coming in now.
Yeah, that's one thing I noticed when I mentioned it on the previous play, that they gave the handoff went up the middle, but they tackled Adele, and then right then you see another firm tackle right there, and it obviously needs a breather.
He came out running, or walking a little stiffly rather. There's the option play, and it's handed off to the running back. The running back driven backwards quite a few yards, and Cougars are going to come over and help their teammate up after he dropped it back to about 2nd and maybe 9.
Mason has a little bit of swagger to himself out there, keeping the ball. He looked really fluid right there under center and being able to hand that ball off. I'll be curious to see if that's something they stick with throughout this drive.
9:28 and counting left to play here in the first half. Cougars trailing by 4. It's the furthest they have been into Millington territory. Hawkins goes in motion, and it will be O'Neal who keeps it himself.
I misspoke a second ago. That is O'Neal. Those numbers are throwing me off once again.
It's digital camouflage. It's camouflage. It's hard to see, man.
I may have to start just looking at our monitor here in the booth to see if I can track where the ball is and whatnot.
Yeah, a lot easier to read. For some reason, and I'm sure you guys see that at home too, the numbers are, they're popping on camera, but not so much popping with the human eye.
See Hunter Smith there, the nose guard right over, showing his defensive coach on the sideline where he's lining up, and he's simply throwing out his assignment there that he's trying to blow up the middle of the play.
So Jay-Sean Adele is back under center now for the Cougars with 8:30 left to play here in the second quarter. Sends a man in motion. Nope. Just trying to once again check the defense there, and they do that to see if there's any man coverage. You want to see if anybody is running man coverage there, and they didn't like what they saw. So they're going to call a timeout. They're burning their second here of the first half. So the Cougars have 1 remaining. Millington Central still has 2 left. And again, there is 8:22 left to play here in the second quarter. Trojans lead the Cougars 10-6. You're watching Prep Football on Tubetown, live local from Ritter Communications.
Memphis International Raceway is a proud sponsor of the Munford High School Cougars. Go Cougars! Check out the schedule at racemir.com for all the details on great family-friendly racing. Now let's go Cougars!
For the Munford Cougars. Munford trying to convert a 3rd and 6. They had to call a timeout. Didn't like what they saw. And we'll see if they can draw up something differently on the chalkboard here to try to convert.
Yeah, well, this is a big play for them right here. I mean, this is the first time without the interception that they've been able to march into Millington territory, and they're trying to get more points on the board.
Adele under center. Sends a man in motion. He'll fake the option. It's going to be him. Got a lot of running room with the 15, the 10, the 5. He'll scamper into the end zone for a Cougar touchdown. And Munford is back on top with 8:12 left to play here in the second quarter.
We've got an injured player sitting at about the 24-yard line, so we're going to check on him. But just a good read option here. Kept it himself, and you could tell as soon as he saw that hole, yeah, get that ball tucked away, young man. He just scampers right into the end zone. But there is an injured player on the field for Millington. That looks like that's going to be, I think that's Devin Knight. That's got his helmet off there about the 24, 25-yard line.
A 29-yard touchdown rush for Jay-Sean Adele makes it 12-10. 8:12 left to play here in the second quarter. We are going to go ahead and step aside quickly, and we'll be back with more action here in the first half of the M&M Bowl. You're watching Prep Football on Tubetown, live local from Ritter Communications.
Life doesn't always go as planned. So when a power surge affects your TV, or a breakfast mishap takes out your laptop, Guardware multi-device protection gives you peace of mind, knowing your devices will be repaired or replaced with just one call, and without breaking the bank. Protection you can trust. Guardware from Ritter. Enroll today to keep what matters most protected tomorrow.
Andy Maness and Ryan Short welcome you back to the 2018 M&M Bowl. The Millington Central Trojans against the Munford Cougars. Cougars just scored a touchdown via Jashawn Adale, a 29-yard touchdown rush to make it 12-10. The extra point still pending. Right now we have a Millington Central Trojan who is down on the field.
Yeah, it looks like that's Knight. They've rolled him over to his back now, and we obviously hate to see that early in the season for the young man, but opportunities like this give us the chance to sort of put this all in perspective, that we're out here today to honor the military and the sacrifice that they made. And when these young men step on the field, they have two things on their mind, and we always see it at the beginning of these games, that they go over there and they thank their Heavenly Father, and then of course we stand at the edge of the field and we salute the flag, and we thank the sacrifice and just the abilities that these young men to come out here and the heart and the sacrifice that they have to make every Friday night to represent their town, represent their families. And we certainly hope that he's okay and that he can come back and be on the field with his team.
Well, he hopped up and was trying to run off the field. The coach had him by the shirt tail saying, hold on, man, hold on. So 2-point conversion is what's on the way here for Munford. Adale fakes the handoff, grabbed by a defensive lineman. He's spun around and in the end zone. Gets the extra point, the 2-point conversion rather, and now Munford on top 14-10. Adale had to fight a little extra there to make it in.
Look at Ryan Flanagan right here. He led with the lead block, and he said, hey, I know where you're at and where you need to be. Let's get there, brother. And he just grabbed him and pulled him in, and you saw as they were running off the field there, Adale was coming over. He got about to the 10-yard line, and he circled back around and gave his buddy a chest bump, and just like that, they've got a lead of 4 points now instead of 3, because, like we know, they missed the PAT on their first touchdown.
And if my math is right, I think that was a 7-play drive there for the Munford Cougars. So I know they're very excited about having that momentum. Obviously, again, we've talked about it earlier here tonight. That was something they struggled with mightily against Covington last week. Couldn't get any momentum running whatsoever. So I know Coach Nick Markle is extremely happy, extremely pleased with the fact they were able to string together so many good plays in a row.
Yeah, we've been fortunate to see this team for 5 quarters now, and that's the first real drive that they've been able to put together. And obviously that 29-yard rush that got them into the red zone right there teed off, and it's only right that they're able to finish it off like that.
That was about a 4-minute drive as well. What a catch. What a basket catch there inside the 40-yard line by the Millington Central Trojan, Alexander. Whether something is cut off on the roster, so I won't even be able to tell you what the last of his last name is. He's got too many letters in his last name. We'll just call him Alexander. He downs the ball at the 40-yard line. Now with 8:07 left to play here in the first half, Tommy Clifton will get to come back out on the field. And it seemed that was only a 4-minute drive, but it seems like it has been a long time since we have seen the Trojan offense out on the field.
Yeah, we've seen a couple timeouts, a little miscues on defense and offense, just trying to regroup. And then, of course, the 2-point conversion and the injury. But we're seeing a little bit of a pep in their step, and you can tell these young men out here are starting to get in the groove a little bit.
Hands it off up the middle, and the tailback is smoked. Jerfonzo Smith got a little introduction to the 2 D tackles there.
I'm not sure if you can hear it through our headset here with the accommodations that Munford has given us. We've got this nice press box. We're in the AC, unlike everybody else, but as soon as they wrapped up the tackle right there, I could hear the Munford play-by-play guy go, hoo, 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 and then you just knew that they're starting to groove a little bit.
Well, if we can take another look at that replay here in a moment, Carson Robertson, the defensive end, number 6, just blew right past the tackle, almost untouched. So now 2nd and 13 coming up for Millington Central.
We've called Robertson's name quite a few times tonight.
I was just about to say it's good to talk about the Cougar defense. After last week, we really didn't get to talk about too many players for them last week.
Look who comes out right there on that tackle. I mean, he's right in the thick of things, right there on the end. He's getting a little bit of forward momentum and beating his guy off the ball, and it's 2 loss of yard plays right here for Millington.
Eddie Macklin and Corey Smith lined up out wide on the far side for Millington Central here on 3rd and 15. Looks like we're going to have Johnny Maddox. We'll check that, make that Garrett Haley. And Josh Allred here on the near side for Tommy Clifton. Jerfonzo Smith in the backfield, 6:40 left to play here in the second quarter. Clifton takes the snap, looking to throw, stands in the pocket, fires over the middle, caught inside the 50-yard line, and nice pickup through the air that time for the Trojans, but it's going to be short of the first down marker, so it'll be 4th and about 2 coming up.
Yeah, great slant route or long post right here through the middle, but look at Savage right here, open field tackle. I mean, the receiver had him beat by a step, but he was able to sacrifice his body and get out there and make that open field tackle, and it's going to result in a 4th and 2 right here for Millington.
As Ryan said, 4th and 2 coming up with 6:04 left to play. You see Clifton trying to draw him off sides with the hard count. Can't get it, so now he's looking for the check down. That's Macklin lined up in the slot over there on the far side. Lined up at wideout is Corey Smith, and we're going to get a timeout here. 5:49 left to play here in the second quarter, and Coach Chris Michael wants to talk some things over, so they're going to burn one of their timeouts. Each team left with a timeout remaining here in the first half. Again, 5:49 left to play. The score 14-10. Munford leading Millington. You're watching Prep Football here on Tubetown, live local from Ritter Communications.
How much bandwidth will satisfy your home's hunger? The average household now has more wireless devices in use a day than ever before, including TVs, laptops, tablets, and smartphones. HD streaming and gaming can use large amounts of data and slow down speeds for other users. The more devices you use, the more bandwidth your home needs. So make sure you have enough bandwidth. Get up to 100 megs with internet from Ritter Communications. It's the speed you need to power all your devices. Call today.
Welcome back to Dr. Sid Witherington Stadium. Andy Manus and Ryan Short here with you in the second quarter of the M&M Bowl. And it is a close ball game with 5:49 left to play in the second quarter. 14-10 is the score. Millington Central trailing, but they're about to try to convert a 4th down play. There's an option. Clifton keeps it himself, and he is swallowed up in the backfield. Lost about 8 yards on that option attempt. And so it'll be a turnover on downs, and Munford's offense will come back out onto the field after an impressive drive.
5 Munford jerseys all around the ball right there. Really didn't give them a chance to even have any type of forward progress on that play. And you know, so far through the first quarter and a half of this game, it sort of felt like a roller coaster, momentum swing one way, the next, and then the last possession and now this turnover on downs, it looks like Munford's has some things rolling in their favor right now.
You're absolutely right. And Millington, started off the game, Munford rather, started off the game obviously with that pick 6, and Millington turned right back around to answer and obviously kicked a field goal after that, but I do believe it is Munford with the momentum now. Pitch out to the right side, a juke over a defender, now inside the 30. Tiptoeing the sideline, the Munford Cougar running back. Can't read his number from here. Travion Hawkins, the sophomore, takes it inside the 15-yard line, and once again in the Millington red zone. Take another look at the replay. Hawkins again takes the pitch out, dodges one defender, gets a great block from his wide receiver here on the sideline, and somehow dodges a couple more while staying in bounds.
You know, that's a young man we saw last week that came in late in the game, that he sort of lit a fire under the Munford offense, and now he's getting some reps with the first team here.
Here's a handoff to Toby Hurd. Toby Hurd playing the role of a pinball. Will bounce off a couple defenders and walk across the goal line for another Cougar touchdown. Toby Hurd, boy, that is a big boy.
Goodness, 13 yards right here, and he busted through the hole with a certain type of mentality, and you weren't going to bring him down. And I know we talk about this style of offense all the time, but the unknown of knowing who has the ball whenever they do that fullback blast or the quarterback comes around the end. I mean, as soon as you just let your guard off for just even a moment, that's what happens. Missed tackles, and then once you break one, you're off to the races.
Extra point is blocked. Comes down right into the hands of a Trojan, and it will be blown dead. 5:25 left to play here in the second quarter, and Munford with the momentum in their favor. They now lead this one 20-10. You're watching Prep Football on Tubetown, live local from Ritter Communications.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
No matter what kind of business you own or operate, you need to keep it connected. Ritter Communications delivers the fastest business internet speeds available at a price that won't slow you down. Ritter offers reliable 24-hour service with network monitoring, along with the scalable options your business needs to grow. And we do it all on our own fiber optic network.
The choice is yours, and so is the savings. Connect to something better. Call or visit RitterBusiness.com today.
Welcome back to Munford, where the Munford Cougars are on a little bit of a roll. They now lead the Millington Central Trojans 20-10 with 5:25 left to play here in the second quarter. Here's the ensuing kickoff after that 13-yard touchdown rush by Toby Hurd, taken inside the 20, now near the 30. Down the far sideline, he'll be dropped just shy of the 35-yard line. Looks like they'll spot him at about the 34, and now the Trojan offense going to come back out and try to make something happen. They have been held quiet their last couple of possessions.
Yeah, that's something we need to hit on right now, is that last week Millington, they came out in their game and they got knocked in the teeth too. They got down 7-0 and they had to fight their way back into the game. And I know as a coach you don't want to see your team get in a routine of getting down and then making this enormous comeback. But this is a team you can't count out. I mean, we're still 5 minutes left in the second quarter. You're down only 10 points.
4 wide receivers for Clifton. Finds a man on the 40-yard line, and it goes right through his hands, and I believe that was Eddie Macklin out there wide. Right through his fingers. Should have hauled that one in for a nice gain.
And he's fortunate the defensive back didn't come up with that, because it sort of fell right in his breadbasket. And I mean, that's a fairly instinctual catch to make when you're that close to the ball. So sort of get out of jail free card right there. And fortunately, it's only 2nd and 10.
Going to bunch the receivers up here on the near side are the Trojans. They've got 3 here on the right side for Clifton. 1 back in the backfield, and I believe that's Corey Smith over there on the far sideline. Sends Macklin in motion. Fakes the end around, toss out. It's a little screen play. They'll pick up about 2 yards, and now it'll be 3rd and 8 coming up.
Yeah, I mean, we're seeing a Munford team right now that we just didn't see the intensity and the fire that they had last week. Robertson, we've called his name a ton, but it takes a host of Cougars to get in on the ball, and they're just making an enormous effort right now to just get as many hats there and wrap up and do the correct fundamental things to get the guys down.
This is, I'm in agreement with you. It doesn't even seem like the same defensive unit that we saw last week.
Well, I mean, momentum plays such a huge part in these games, and I think last week they just came out and it didn't start off on the right foot. But tonight, I mean, you're playing in front of your home crowd, standing room only. Goodness gracious, Robertson just lit into that young man.
Good night, Millington.
Watch it right here on the replay. Sack. Just absolutely blew past the lineman right there. Marquise Flowers just got blown right off the ball, and I mean, we've been calling his name all night.
Saw the pressure coming and everything, and just got drilled. Lucky he held on to the football, but now a long 4th and about 16 coming up. There's the punt. Nobody back to return, and it will take a Trojan bounce there. Excuse me, a Cougar bounce rather, inside the 50-yard line.
They're going to have good field position to start this drive. I mean, they're just barely in their own territory. So, I mean, while it's good, go get it. I mean, just keep running the ball, keep that option play. I mean, they're mixing it up just enough to keep the Millington defense on their toes with the fullback blast, and then, of course, Adele keeping it, and he's been able to scamper for quite a few yards.
Cougars come out on their own 48-yard line. Again, 3:44 left to play. They lead by 10. Adele looking to run with it. He's across the 50, and he will be brought down at about the 47-yard line. Pickup of maybe 6 on the first down rush. So 2nd and 4 coming up.
Yeah, they've kept the ball most on the ground for every single offensive play tonight. And so far, you can see by those gray jerseys, that's not a two-tone jersey. That's sweat. Those men are working out there, and they're gaining every yard that they possibly can.
Munford has scored on their last 2 drives. Of course, their last drive only took them 2 plays. Second play of this drive coming up. 2nd and 5. Handoff up the middle to Toby Hurd. Hurd will bowl over a couple of defenders, picking up a couple of yards on the way. Now 3rd and short coming up.
Yeah, he's going to pick up 3 or 4 right there. And, I mean, with the style offense they have, this is exactly where you want to be.
Got chipping away at the defense, and now a 3rd and short opportunity on the way. 2:35 left to play here in the first half. We'll see if either team wants to burn one of their final timeouts. Here's Adele under center. Sends a man in motion. He's going to keep it himself. Adele juking in the backfield. Looks like he might have had enough initially, but was he pushed backwards?
I thought the far line judge over there sort of marked forward progress right at the line, right at the yard of gain, but then it seemed like whenever he actually came down, they pushed him back. So I think it's going to be a 4th and short here.
Yeah, they have switched the down marker to 4, so it will be a 4th and 1 coming up.
You see it right here on the replay that it was a keep all the way, and he sort of forward momentum may have taken him to the line of scrimmage, but then right there he kind of got pushed back a little bit.
1:50 to play here in the second quarter. We'll see if they want to call a timeout. Again, each team with one final timeout remaining in the first half. And Munford taking their sweet time getting this play called. Adele is still waiting on it to come in, and it actually looks like Coach Nick Markle is down here waiting to call timeout, and there it is.
Yeah.
So he will call his final timeout of the first half. Clock should stop at 1:29 left to play here in the second quarter. We're going to take a quick timeout with them. Again, your score 20-10. Munford leading Millington Central. We're back with more action. You're watching Prep Football here on Tubetown, live local from Ritter Communications.
Advanced Pools, where your pool is our pool. Here at Advanced Pools, we have been serving the Mid-South for over 25 years. We design and build beautiful custom pools and spas, and we pride ourselves in transforming your existing pool into your dream pool. We offer a full line of services, maintenance, and in-store supplies. We take pleasure in creating the backyard living experience that you and your family deserve. Have an idea for your backyard oasis? Give us a call at 837-7867. Visit us online at www.advancedpoolcare.com or come see us at 201 Commercial Drive in Atoka. Advanced Pools, where your pool is our pool.
Andy Maness and Ryan Short welcome you back to Munford here at Dr. Sid Witherington Stadium. The Cougars have got a 4th and short coming up with $1:29 left to play in the second quarter. Can they convert this big 4th down play? Adele under center. Hurd in the backfield with him. Man goes in motion. Adele's going to keep it himself. He's got the first down and more inside the 40-yard line. And that will move the chains for the Cougars. Clock will stop at 1:23. It'll kick back up again once they get the ball set. But a good run there on 4th down, which you'll see on the replay.
Look at the adjustment. Instead of giving the ball into Hurd's, even pretending or faking the run, he stood up and completely kept that ball in his possession. There was not a chance he was going to fumble that, and that's something that we've seen from last week and this week, that those inconsistencies end up forcing a fumble.
Adele taking no time to get on the ball. Play action, throwing over the middle, got a man at the 20, the 15, 10-5, touchdown. What a play action pass from Jay-Sean Adele. First time we've seen him air it out here on Tubetown, and he is 1 for 1.
I would take that completion percentage every day, but you see this, the DN was coming rushing, and he had no time to get rid of it. But when you have an offense that just pounds and pounds and pounds and pounds, your corners get lackadaisical, and that's what's 37 yards. Cake, easy. You can do that in your backyard any day of the week. Except for the part where you get laid on your back afterwards, but still, you know what I'm saying.
Now, how about Adele? He knew that the pressure was coming from the defensive end and stood in there and just threw that ball, even though he knew he was getting hammered. Extra point up and good. Go through the uprights. Again, a 37-yard touchdown pass from Jay-Sean Adele puts the Cougars back, or extends the lead for the Cougars, I should say, 27-10, now with 1 minute remaining here in the first half. We're watching Prep Football here on Tubetown, live local from Ritter Communications.
I am the new Reese's Outrageous Blizzard only at DQ, and I live up to my name. I am Reese's Peanut Butter Cups and Reese's Pieces Candies. It's 2 kinds of Reese's in one Blizzard. Plus, brace yourselves, caramel. Outrageous! This is an outrage! Who's behind this? Does DQ know about this? Psst, of course we do. Because I'm not fast food. I am fan food.
Andy Maness and Ryan Short back here with you in Munford, where the Cougars on a roll. They've scored their last 3 possessions. Now the ensuing kickoff taken inside the 5-yard line. Here's the return outside the 20, 30, 45, 40, across the 50.
Does he have the gas?
Now the far side 20. He's down the far sideline. I don't see any flags. And how about Eddie Macklin?
Goodness
A
gracious.
95-yard kickoff return. And just like that, Millington Central gets a little bit of momentum swinging back their way after giving up 3 consecutive scores.
You know, growing up, I never really had the speed, obviously, that Macklin had. But a saying that my dad would always say is, unhitch the wagon. There's no wagon attached to that young man right there. As soon as you see him, he beats the kicker right there. Goodness gracious. Savage just caught the touchdown pass, and now he's running for his life trying, and he's, oh my gosh, this is great. Macklin running through the end line there like a sprinter on a 100-yard dash. Well, I mean, it was 100 yards. I'm at a loss for words right here, Andy.
A 95-yard touchdown kickoff return there for Eddie Macklin. And now the extra point on the way to make it a 10-point ball game.
I think we're having unsportsmanlike conduct.
I believe we did. See if Millington wants to do anything with that yard that they're giving them.
Someone's going to have to go to church on Sunday.
They're going to go ahead and continue kicking this extra point. Not going to change their game plan here with 42 seconds left.
Okay, so the clock was exactly 1 minute, I believe, when they kicked off. So 18-second return. Take it the length of the field.
I think it kept rolling slightly after he scored as well. So, yeah,
but I mean,
about 15 seconds from end zone to end zone.
That's just how quick these games can swing. I mean, you're down 17 going into half, and then all of a sudden you run a kickoff back, and now it's marginal. And then I don't recall who who had the opening kickoff, but coming out, you get a stop or you get a good opening drive, and it's just you're right back in this thing.
So the referees are discussing a call that was made out on the field moments ago. That looks like a penalty was issued to Munford, but they are discussing it now. So,
is that the Chick-fil-A cow back there?
Okay.
Yeah, it is.
I think it is.
I haven't used that one in my crossword in some time now.
These referees are taking their time. It started off just 2 of them talking to each other, and the other 2 came over. So we had a regular powwow going on out there on the 5-yard line.
I think they're asking if they want to assess the penalty on the PAT or if they want to assess it to the kickoff. And I mean, they obviously advanced it half the distance to the goal, but if they wait to assess it for the kickoff, that'll move them forward 15 yards, and they'll be kicking off from, I believe, the 50-yard line.
Well, they're still talking. They're still.
I mean, considering that I think he missed his previous PAT. Or no, he hit that field goal earlier, so I mean, he's got the leg for it. I don't know why you would.
Rafat Morsheed getting ready to boot the extra point through. He did have a 36-yard field goal that bounced off the crossbar earlier. Made its way through. Here's the extra point. And it's good. So it will be a 10-point ball game here with 42 seconds remaining in the second quarter. 27-17 is your score. Munford still leading Millington Central, but the Trojans with a little bit of momentum after that kickoff return.
I think we should keep it right here during this break. I mean, we got 42 seconds left in the first half, and we said it earlier, just a roller coaster of emotions. Both teams sort of going back and forth. We've now seen a pick six. We've seen a kickoff return for a touchdown. We've seen rushing TDs, passing through the air, obviously. But, I mean, this has been the whole gamut of everything you could hope in a first half, and we still have a whole nother half to play. Looking at Facebook right now, we appreciate you stopping in on Tubetown. Obviously, Patricia, Kristen, Terrace, Carol saying, wow, good job, Trojans. And then John Mason over, this is awesome. I completely agree, man. This has been an awesome first half to some prep football.
Again, we want to thank our sponsors here in the first half, W&W Home Builders, Drain Go, Hometown Realty, the Town of Atoka, and Homer Skelton Ford of Millington. 27-17 is the score. There's the kickoff, and now Munford with a chance to take one back down the far sideline. They're going to score. Are you kidding me?
What's that song? Anything you can do, I can do better? I don't know if that was better, but it's basically the same thing.
Well, and how about this for kicks? The Millington Central player to take it back was number 2, Eddie Macklin. Guess who's taking this one back for the Cougars? Number 2, Travion Hawkins. So, a couple of deuces returning kicks here. And how about that? A good maybe 6 seconds taken off the clock there, it seems like.
We've had 2 scores in the last 30 seconds. 2 scores in the last 30 seconds. Most of them on kickoff. I mean, golly, this is just insane.
55, 60 yards.
Why is it like this? Just curious. As a sports person, you watch a game and the first, 15 minutes of the first half just fly by. You have this running gun, just gunslinging. The last 30 seconds have lasted 15 minutes just because we've got unsportsmanlike, so we've got kickoff returns. We got the heartbreak on the Munford side when Millington runs it back, and then you see everyone throwing up their hands as soon as Munford runs one back as well. And, I mean, now if you're the Trojans, you sort of felt good about yourself 30 seconds ago. And now,
yeah, absolutely. If you're the Trojans, I mean, you're heading into the locker room. You're heading into the locker room after just scoring on a 95-yard kickoff return. That's a lot of momentum. Yeah, you're still down 10 points, but now you're headed back into the locker room after surrendering a kickoff return, and you have to give the ball back to Munford to start the third quarter.
Yeah, I mean, there's a saying that they have in fall, two-a-days, that there's no days off. Well, I mean, there's no plays off. Something as minuscule as the kickoff that's happened, and we've seen 2 of them go out of bounds so far. They've resulted in 14 points. And, I mean, at this point, we saw it all across the booth. We see it in the stands, people throwing up their hands and shrugging their shoulders like, what in the world is going on?
Short onside kick comes up. Oh, and the Trojan player who initially touched it might have lost it. He lost his cool for sure. We'll see who fell on top of the football. Munford seems to think that they've got it. But our player, we don't know all of his last name, Alexander something.
I think the one laying the hit right there is the same guy we've been calling out all night. I think Carson Robertson was the one that laid the hit. But then, when they were exiting the field, I think that was Matthew Thomas for the Trojans that laid the first hit that's going to have the first unsportsman. And then I think there was some jawing going on for the Munford players that resulted in the 2 flags on the field.
That was actually Cameron Haley who was the initial Trojan to touch it.
Okay.
And on the way off of the field, one of the Trojans, one of the Cougars, I believe, got a little shove in there as well.
This is going to take some sorting out because, I mean, they're dealing with the kickoff. I mean, if it's a personal foul and then if it's a late hit, we're really not sure. We're going to get the call here.
So the first call is obviously going to be unsportsmanlike on Munford rather, and now we've got one on the Trojans, and they'll offset. So
an eye for an eye.
And now we got a third one coming up.
Oh, okay. Another.
All right, so.
And that was going to be the shove that we saw there at the very end.
I believe so.
Okay, so we had 2 flags on the ground. Did we miss somebody throwing a hat on the ground too? Because I thought we just had 2 penalties, unless they just. Anyways.
Guys, it's still the first half. We've still got 30 seconds left to play here in the second quarter.
I will tell you, there's 31 seconds left now, and the Cougars.
Either way, Munford has possession of the football after that kickoff. So they recover the. I guess you call it an onside kick.
Well, no, I think they gave it to Millington. Millington has the ball. I think that's the Munford defense out. Yeah, Munford's defense.
Correct.
Munford's defense is out there. So 30 seconds on the clock. What's your 30-yard play? They're going to run that post route that they've had success with so far, or they're just going to run this ball out? At this point, anything can happen. I don't see why they don't try to air it out right here.
Look for a bubble screen maybe here on the near sideline. You got your quick man Eddie Macklin over here in the slot on the near side, and you've got a bigger player in Josh Allred over here where he can block, but looks like they're going to back him up even further. Maybe you had to delay a game out there.
Yeah, delay a game, and I really don't agree with this. I mean, it took the refs 20 minutes out there to sort all this out between the unsportsmanlike on on the PAT earlier now, this kickoff, and I mean, you got to understand that those kids aren't going to be on the field ready just as soon as you're ready. But nevertheless, 1st and 15 with only 30 seconds left.
Clifton fakes the handoff. He'll keep it himself across the 30, 35, 40, 45, 50. He'll be brought down from behind on the other side of the 50. Far side hash marks right about the 47-yard line, and that will stop the clock until they move the chains. 20 seconds remaining here in the second quarter. The Trojans do have one final timeout, but they probably don't want to burn it just yet.
I think that was a gain of like 26 yards right there. That's something to mark it down as. But that changes the whole complexity of how you're going to run these last few plays.
Clifton with a pump fake, fires to the far sideline, caught, and they will get out of bounds as well, I believe.
Line judge over there signaled that they're going to continue to run the clock, so you see some frustration there on the Millington sideline because he was definitely attempting to get out of bounds there, and now they're going to have to burn one of those timeouts.
Yeah, might have taken a knee as he caught that ball, didn't quite make it out of bounds on the far sideline, so that knee might have come down inside. But yeah, either way, Millington does have to burn that final timeout with 5 seconds remaining here in the second quarter. So, you know, ball spotted at the 47-yard line. There's only one thing you can really do. Well, I guess there's a couple of options you can do. If you trust the arm in Tommy Clifton, you let him chuck it in the end zone. You take a look at this first down run moments ago by Tommy Clifton to set him up here at midfield. But you've got the option of letting Tommy Clifton air it out, or you've got a couple of quick players. You could attempt a hook and ladder here.
Yeah, I mean, you could. I have no idea. I mean, we've seen it all in this last few minutes. My instinct is keep it on the ground, run like a bubble screen, hook and ladder, something that's fairly simple. Don't do anything too complex, but just give your team the ability to make a play on their feet. But you obviously see right here, Munford's going to come out and prevent defense. They've got, 8 guys, at least 15 yards off the ball. So
yeah, they've only got 3 guys up on the football on the line, and I'm pretty sure I just saw one of the defensive coordinators for Munford go out, and he was instructing everybody, bat it down. Don't try to catch it. Bat it down.
There's no need to make an all-star play right here.
Here we go. 2nd and 1. Pass out on the far sideline. And, hey, how about that? He did manage to scamper out of bounds before the quarter ends. So I would say maybe 2 seconds left on the clock.
Yeah, they're going to at least put some time clock back.
The scoreboard says 0-0-0.
Munford's acting. I mean, we're going to see 2 separate things right here. Munford's going to act like they're going to the locker room. They're going to wave them back on. They're probably going to put a couple seconds, but you got to think strategically there. They're either thinking, okay, the arm of Clifton, we feel a better shot. We have a play that's more manageable a few yards down the field, or maybe a field goal, but obviously they're not going to do that. We saw the leg he had earlier, but they're still about 10 to 15 yards out of his range right now. So this will be one little last-ditch effort to get into the end zone.
Yeah, they'll have time for one more play here in the first half. Millington trailing 34-17. 3 wide receivers here on the near side for Clifton. Looking to throw. Throws it out over the head of the intended receiver, Eddie Macklin. It'll go off his fingertips. The 2 teams will head to the locker room here in the 2018 M&M Bowl. 34-17 is the score. Munford has come out and scored a couple of touchdowns in a row, and they have taken control of this game as they head into the locker room. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll continue our special coverage of the M&M Bowl. We've got a special guest, some special ceremonies they're going to do here during the halftime break. So we're going to rope you in on that. We're back with more action here from Munford after this. You're watching Prep Football on Tubetown, live local from Ritter Communications.
Advanced Pools, where your pool is our pool. Here at Advanced Pools, we have been serving the Mid-South for over 25 years. We design and build beautiful custom pools and spas, and we pride ourselves in transforming your existing pool into your dream pool. We offer a full line of services, maintenance, and in-store supplies. We take pleasure in creating the backyard living experience that you and your family deserve. Have an idea for your backyard oasis? Give us a call at 837-7867. Visit us online at www.advancedpoolcare.com or come see us at 201 Commercial Drive in Atoka. Advanced Pools, where your pool is our pool.
I am the new Reese's Outrageous Blizzard only at DQ, and I live up to my name. I am Reese's Peanut Butter Cups and Reese's Pieces Candies. It's 2 kinds of Reese's in one Blizzard. Plus, brace yourselves, caramel. outrageous! This is an outrage! Who's behind this? Does DQ know about this? Psst. Of course we do. Because I'm not fast food. I am fan food.
The kind of comfort you can always rely on. The hard-working performance that gets the job done. The dependable equipment that never lets you down. The tried and the true. Here's to reliability built into everything we do. Rely on Root. Get reliable comfort year-round with a new efficient HVAC system installed and serviced by our experienced professionals.
Southern Lawn and Pest. Our goal is to provide our customers with healthy, weed-free lawns, athletic field management, and pest-free homes while maintaining the highest level of customer service guaranteed. We use state-of-the-art products and equipment that are proven to deliver the results you want. Give us a call today at 476-8188 or visit us online at www.southernlawnandpest.com and let us help you get the lawn you've always wanted. We have an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau, and you can find us on Angie's List. Southern Lawn and Pest is the athletic field management provider for Munford High School football and is a licensed, bonded, and insured company.
Memphis International Raceway is a proud sponsor of the Munford High School Cougars. Go Cougars! Check out the schedule at racemir.com for all the details on great family-friendly racing. Now let's go Cougars!
Life doesn't always go as planned. So when a power surge affects your TV, or a breakfast mishap takes out your laptop, Guardware multi-device protection gives you peace of mind, knowing your devices will be repaired or replaced with just one call, and without breaking the bank. Protection you can trust. Guardware from Ritter. Enroll today to keep what matters most protected tomorrow.
How much bandwidth will satisfy your home's hunger? The average household now has more wireless devices in use a day than ever before, including TVs, laptops, tablets, and smartphones. HD streaming and gaming can use large amounts of data and slow down speeds for other users. The more devices you use, the more bandwidth your home needs. So make sure you have enough bandwidth. Get up to 100 megs with internet from Ritter Communications. It's the speed you need to power all your devices. Call today.
No matter what kind of business you own or operate, you need to keep it connected. Ritter Communications delivers the fastest business internet speeds available at a price that won't slow you down. Ritter offers reliable 24-hour service with network monitoring, along with the scalable options your business needs to grow. And we do it all on our own fiber optic network. The choice is yours, and so is the savings. Connect to something better. Call or visit ritterbusiness.com today.
911, what's your emergency?
I'm home alone. Someone is trying to get in the back door.
Find a safe place like in a closet or under a bed, okay?
Okay.
Be very quiet and don't worry. Your home phone gave me your location.
Hurry.
Help is on the way.
Only a dedicated home phone can quickly pinpoint your address for emergency personnel. Cell phones can't. Keep your loved ones safe for less than 60 cents a day with a home phone from Ritter. Call today or go to rittercommunications.com.
Introducing Ritter Home Security. Ritter takes care of protecting what's most important to you, from threats like unwelcome visitors and fire, to making your life easier by putting the control of your home at your fingertips. Use the free app to shut the garage, lock the door, turn off lights, arm the system, and more. You can even turn back the thermostat to help save money on your energy bill. Plus, get a snapshot when your kids get home. It's smart, beautiful, convenient, and ready for your busy life. Ritter Home Security.
Until you've seen how fast it really is, some people's reaction to Ritter's 100 megabit internet might be like, 100 mega, huh? Here's how we describe it. Mega beautiful, mega fast, mega blast, mega party, mega Ritter. There's no end to your online possibilities with up to 100 meg internet speeds. In a word, that means mega fun. If you're not getting your high-speed internet from Ritter, you should. Call 888-336-4466 today. Only from Ritter Communications, right by you.
For your smartphones, tablets, phablets. For the browsers you carry in your trousers. Wowzers! For your big screens and small screens, short screens and tall screens, get speed that screams. From the top of your desk to the palm of your hand, it's the fastest internet speed in the land.
There's no end to your online possibilities with up to 100 meg internet speeds. If you're not getting your internet from Ritter, you should. Call 888-336-4466 today. Ritter Communications. Right by you.
High-speed internet for every grown-up, grandparent, kid, teen, and in between. Ritter's got it. Every JPEG, MPEG, and GIF for the working mom or the working stiff, loaded in a GIF. Whether you're a blogger, gamer, or pixel tamer, don't be a slow-speed blamer. Don't waste your time waiting to load that page. Get Ritter high-speed internet. It's all the rage.
There's no end to your online possibilities with up to 100 meg internet speeds. Only from Ritter Communications. Right by you.
You work here, you play here, you live here, and yet most of what you watch on television is about somewhere other than here. Until now, we proudly present Tubetown, TV about you. Tubetown is a Ritter Communications exclusive network featuring local sports, community events, unique and original programming from our community. Tubetown takes what's best about television, what's best about the community, and brings them together. Tubetown, only from Ritter Communications, right by you.
Technology was supposed to make our lives easier. No one told us about the plethora of glitches, viruses, hackers, hundreds of passwords to remember, and getting all our tech to sync up. Introducing Tech Home. Technology made easy for you and your devices. Tech Home makes it easy to set up, protect, and enjoy your internet-connected devices anytime, anywhere. Security, password management, backup, and premium tech support. Get back in charge of your digital life now with Tech Home.
Satellite TV providers force you to sign a long-term contract, then saddle you with second-rate service and price increases. Ritter delivers TV service with stunning HD channels, plus bundle savings on the area's fastest internet, and a better home phone service with no long-term contracts, backed by our local customer care team. No contracts, no nonsense, just great service. Don't get stuck with a dish. Visit RitterCommunications.com to learn more.
It begins with a click. And no matter where you are, you have countless choices at your fingertips. On the road, on your break, even in your own backyard. A world of entertainment is just a click away. Simply go to RitterCommunications.com/TV Everywhere to get started. Ritter Communications, connecting you to everything that matters.
With so many great mega services available from Ritter Communications, it's hard to pick just one. Save a bundle with bundled services. Talk as much as you want, when you want, with unlimited long distance. Get the speed you need with up to 15, 30, 50, and even 100 megabits per second internet. Enjoy online bill pay and protect all your online data and devices with Tech Home and Guardware. With so many choices, options, and savings from Ritter, all you can say is, wow! Mega services, mega savings. That's Mega Ritter.
Welcome you back to Dr. Sid Witherington Stadium. Andy Maness and Ryan Short here with you at the halftime break between the Millington Central Trojans and the home team Munford Cougars. And score 34-17. Been a fun one to be a part of so far, Ryan.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we've been talking for the last 30 minutes about how the last minute of that half just had everyone on their toes. A lot of back and forth, but we've got some numbers to show you. We've got some unofficial stats that we've been keeping up here in the booth, and obviously we're going to try to recap some of the big plays that took place in that first half. So obviously for Millington, they had one kickoff return for a touchdown. We saw that at the last minute. 63 rushing yards on the ground, most of those coming by just committee. 4 different running backs on the score sheet for us. 30 passing yards. They've had some success in the air, but then we also know of the interception that they threw early in the game, and then total yards that equals up to 93 yards total.
Yeah, just to kind of recap the scoring, Millington started things off tonight by throwing a pick six to Jesse Savage, and Munford went up 6-0 early on. They missed that extra point after that touchdown. Millington seemed like they swing the momentum right back in their favor, though. They only took 3 plays to find the end zone and answer things. 54-yard touchdown rush for quarterback Tommy Clifton. and then they hit their extra point to go up 7-6. Teams would trade possessions until right about 36 seconds left in that first quarter. Millington would boot through a 36-yard field goal off the foot of Rafat Mashid, and they would go up 10-6. Munford would immediately answer that with a nice little 7-play, 8-play drive, capitalizing or capping it off rather with a 29-yard touchdown rush from Jayshawn Adale. They'd hit the 2-point conversion to go up 14-10. Then Munford would again strike the end zone. Only took them 2 plays to find it. After that, 13-yard rush from Toby Hurd rather, and that would extend the lead out to 21-10. Millington seemed like they found some momentum though. Once the score was 27-10, Millington was able to take a kickoff return, 95 yards from Eddie Macklin, to go down by 10, or narrow the margin by 10 rather.
It didn't last long though, Andy.
No, it didn't, because right after that Munford would return a kick of their own 65 yards. So that brings us to the score where we're at 34-17.
Yeah, so Munford ended the scoring for the first half for us. Looking back at their stats, obviously with the ground and pound, most of their yards coming on the ground. And like we said, it's been basically a committee. Adale carrying the brunt of the load there, but then also we've got big Toby Hurd, the fullback for the Cougars, that has got a touchdown for himself as well. So they've racked up 140 yards on the ground so far. Then, of course, we saw that 1 touchdown pass. I mean, Adale for the season, he's 1 for 1 in completions, 37-yard touchdown strike. I don't have the statistician mindset to be able to do the QBR on that, but I would imagine it's pretty good. They're going to have a total of 177 yards, and like we mentioned, they had that pick 6 on their defense. First time they're out on the field, and then of course you've got the return touchdown that ended the first half. And right now on the field we've got the Munford band. They're doing their halftime performance. We've seen this twice now, and it's just a beautiful performance that these students are able to come out here, and they're wrapping up their performance right now, and something that they're doing tonight, and I don't know if it's a surprise or something like that, but they're going to have a special announcement on the field. They're going to have a ceremony actually honoring a former Munford alum. Of course, he's from Munford, but he also played for the Tennessee Volunteers. That's a big buzzword in these parts, but Johnny Jones, he was inducted into the Tennessee Sports Hall of Fame this year. And they're going to give a few moments of their halftime performance to him tonight. Just recognize the contribution that he made for Munford Athletics and obviously for the Tennessee Volunteers. And I believe at some point during this performance, what we've been told here in the booth is that the band's actually going to form a Tennessee Volunteer tee on the field, and they're going to have that moment for him. So what we're going to do is we're going to step away for a moment. We're going to let you hear the sights and the sounds of the Munford band, and then we'll be back with you just shortly.
The entire Munford Band family would like to thank South Tipton and North Shelby County for their continued support of the arts and both of these fine band programs. Without everyone's financial support and emotional encouragement, the sounds of music on Friday nights would not be possible. From all of us, all of you, thank you very much. didn't get a chance to recognize her, but Miss Victoria Sinner is the Munford High School director this year. Tonight we are honoring a very big part of our Munford family. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Coach Johnny Jones to the field.
It is now time to begin the induction ceremony for the 2018 class. He's already been made reference to, but let's go ahead and introduce you to our next inductee, former University of Tennessee running back, Johnny Jones. Munford High School is a destination for many schools because of a talented
Coach Jones is the son of Johnny and Helen Jones. He grew up a product of the Munford community, attending George Ellis and Munford Elementary Schools, George Ellis Middle School, and Munford High School.
He ran for 2,157 yards and 24 touchdowns. Unheard of numbers at the time. Johnny chose the University of Tennessee, 375 miles away from Munford. For 2+ seasons, it didn't look like a match. Johnny played little and simply could not break through. A month into his junior season in 1983, it was more of the same. And then, the Vols headed to West Tennessee for a game at the Liberty Bowl against the Citadel. At that moment, Tennessee and Johnny Jones exploded. The Vols would win that day 45-6, sparking them to an 8-1 finish. Johnny would rush for 148 yards and begin a run into Big Orange history. 2 weeks later, a 66-yard run beat Alabama in Birmingham. A school record 234 yards rushing against Rutgers. Breaking that record just weeks later with 248 yards against Vanderbilt. Suddenly, in less than 2 months, Johnny Jones had become the first back in Tennessee's illustrious football history to rush for over 1,000 yards. Johnny followed his incredible finish to 1983 by rushing for 1,290 yards as a senior, breaking his own school record in the process. He became Tennessee's all-time leading rusher. Johnny was selected by the Seattle Seahawks in the 5th round and also spent time with the Hamilton Tiger Cats of the CFL. Unfortunately, an injury ended his football career in 1988. Johnny returned to Munford to pursue a career in law enforcement. His love for football continues as an assistant running back coach at the high school. Fittingly, he was recognized for his amazing accomplishments with his induction into the Tipton County Sports Hall of Fame. Tonight, the first man to rush for 1,000 yards in a season at the University of Tennessee gets another honor. Munford's own Johnny Jones is now a member of the Tennessee Sports Hall of Fame.
Johnny Jones was the Clark Kent of Munford, A typical young man, he played outside, rode bicycles, had broken bones, loved to fish, had chores, a job, loved his pickup truck, and wasn't sure what he wanted to do by day. But by night, Friday night, Johnny Jones became a superhero, leaving would-be tacklers grasping for air, lying on their back, or chasing them down the field, watching them score. He didn't leap tall buildings in a single bound. He wasn't a bird or a plane, but he was the Johnny Jones that Munford came to love. He rushed for 4,547 yards and 47 touchdowns during his high school career. His senior year, he rushed for 2,157 yards, 24 touchdowns, was named the West Tennessee Offensive Player of the Year by the Jackson Sun, a consensus All-State running back, and All-South honorable mention in his senior year. He was ranked the number 8 recruit and number 2 running back in the state. Johnny was recruited by Arkansas, Memphis, Tennessee, and Ole Miss, and chose the orange and white of Tennessee, and the rest is history. His 1983 season was full of memorable times. Arguably his most famous play with the ball, placed on the ball's 34-yard line, 3rd and 3 to go, the score tied at 34, 3:11 to go in the game, the fourth quarter, October the 15th, 1983, against the Crimson Tide of Alabama. Jones took the pitch to the left, scampered 66 yards for what ended up being the game-winning score. 2 games later, he had a UT record-breaking performance, rushing for 234 yards on 41 attempts. Just 4 weeks later, broke that record in a 34-24 victory over Vanderbilt, running for 248 yards. He was the 1983 Florida Citrus Bowl MVP, amassing 154 yards and 2 touchdowns on 29 carries in the 30-23 win over Maryland. He set another record as the first 1,000-yard rusher in Tennessee Ball's history with 1,116 yards. Finished second in the SEC in rushing yards that season, 97 yards behind someone you may have heard of, Auburn's Bo Jackson. He rushed his way into Heisman Trophy consideration in 1984, finished 5th in the nation in rushing, and led the SEC with 1,290 yards and 10 touchdowns, breaking the school's single-season rushing record that he had set the year before. Johnny was selected to the annual East-West Shrine Game. Nearly 35 years later, Johnny Jones is number 4 on the Ball's all-time list in rushing yards with 2,852, 6th in single-season rushing yards with 1,290, 4th and 6th in single-game rushing with 248 and 234 yards, and still holds the record for rushing attempts in a single game with 41. He was drafted in the 5th round of the '85 NFL Draft by the Seattle Seahawks and later played for the Hamilton Tiger Cats of the CFL and was nominated for the 1987 Most Outstanding Rookie Award. In 1991, Johnny returned home to Munford to support the community that supported him by pursuing a career in law enforcement. He now works as a school resource officer for Tipton County, a reserve officer for the Munford Police Department, and volunteers as an assistant coach for your Munford Cougars. He is one of the county's most accomplished athletes and was part of the inaugural Tipton County Sports Hall of Fame class in 2013. And on June 16, 2018, he was inducted into the State of Tennessee Sports Hall of Fame. Ladies and gentlemen, Coach Johnny Jones. Presenting Coach Jones with the Munford game ball is MHS Principal Dr. Courtney Fee and Munford Football Booster Club President Russ Ross. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give it up for your Johnny Jones. Andrew Fletcher, if you are in the stadium, you need to report to the main entrance. Andrew Fletcher, if you're
time break. We're going to take a quick step aside, and when we come back, we'll have the third quarter of action for you right here on Tubetown.
Advanced Pools, where your pool is our pool. Here at Advanced Pools, we have been serving the Mid-South for over 25 years. We design and build beautiful custom pools and spas, and we pride ourselves in transforming your existing pool into your dream pool. We offer a full line of services, maintenance, and in-store supplies. We take pleasure in creating the backyard living experience that you and your family deserve. Have an idea for your backyard oasis? Give us a call at 837-7867. Visit us online at www.advancedpoolcare.com or come see us at 201 Commercial Drive in Atoka. Advanced Pools, where your pool is our pool.
Welcome back to Munford. We are at Dr. Sid Witherington Stadium, home of the Munford Cougars, and Munford Cougars come out of the locker room at the halftime break with a nice little lead. 34-17 is the score over there. Rival the Millington Central Trojans. Ryan, good first half between these two teams. A lot of momentum, though, being shifted towards Munford at the end of that.
Yeah, Munford's going to get the ball to start the second half, and let's see if they can just pick up right where they left off.
Here's Jay-Sean Adale at the 30, looking for some running room down the near sideline. Across the 40, lowers his shoulder, and he'll get bowled out of bounds right about the 44-yard line. This is roughly where we've seen both teams start their possessions here tonight, right about midfield. Not quite midfield, but right about.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't really seen this pushing the, let's call it the position on the field, the battle that they're facing, just the yardage back and forth. Essentially, whenever they've been getting the ball, they've been pushing the ball down the field and be able to generate good drives. So I'd be curious to see how both teams respond coming out here in the second half.
Especially after what seemed like a quite lengthy halftime break. Here's Adale under center. It's a man in motion. There's Hurd, who gets taken down by his jersey, and that could have been a touchdown-saving tackle. I don't know how much speed Hurd has got in his tank, but he was on his way through that second level before he was brought down by his jersey. Take another look at the Ritter Communications replay.
Yeah, the Trojans are lucky right here that I believe that was, I know 41 jumped over him. That's Hunter Lucas, but just dragged down by his shirt tail there.
2nd and 4 coming up. Again, it's Hurd taking the handoff. He'll rumble forward, and depending on the spot, he may have the first down. It's awful close. It'll either be 3rd and short, or it'll be 1st and 10. It's like they're going to mark it 3rd and 1.
Good pickup at 3 yards. I mean, getting back, this is something that it really works in Munford's favor, the fact that they're able to establish the run game, that whenever they get in these situations where they're up by a couple scores, they can come out and essentially run the clock out.
Everybody's creeping in towards the line of scrimmage. Here's Adale. He's going to keep it himself, cuts up to the middle of the field, and he is at the 45-yard line, picks up more than enough to move those chains. Another first down, Cougars coming up.
Good execution right there, and that's obviously an adjustment that they made early on in the first quarter, was whenever they're running that, I'm assuming it's no longer a read play, but whenever he's going to keep it and run to that right or left side, that he doesn't even keep it in the gut of the back, that he's just going to simply hold it there and then move forward and go into the hole that his linemen are creating for him.
Yeah, different type of option there. Different type of look there from the Cougars. 1st and 10 coming up. Man goes in motion. They hand it off to Hurd this time. No, they pitched it out off the hands of the running back, and I think the Cougars got lucky and fell on top of it. But right there, that's what we were talking about looking at. That was a triple option play. He faked the option up the middle, and instead of keeping it himself like we've seen him do, Ryan, he instead pitches it off, and you'll see on the replay here.
Yeah, it just looks like his back was just unprepared for the ball right there. I mean, it hit him right in the chest, so I mean, good technique right there. But fortunately, Munford's able to fall back on top of it. I mean, there's a host of jerseys there trying to get on and try to recover and swing the momentum there, but fortunately for them, no loss of yardage either. It's just going to result in a second down and basically a loss of a play.
Yeah, 2nd and 10 coming up. Got about 8 guys in the box do the Trojans. Trying to guard that run, but it's an end around here. Or actually, it's Adale keeping it himself. I can't even tell. These guys are moving quick out here tonight.
They are. It's a good pickup of about 11 yards there, and you can tell tonight Adale's running with a certain type of intensity that we haven't seen before. It looks like we got a cramp here on the near side. I'm not sure who that is coming off right there. I believe that's going to be Bryson Jenigan that's coming off. And, you know, it's interesting. We're going to start talking about cramps. We're going to talk about conditioning stuff here in the second half. So last week, Millington had a tough contest where their head coach, Chris Michael, had addressed that in the post game, saying that we've got to come out better condition and hydrate because they dealt with a lot of cramps last week. So it'd be interesting with the competition that Munford had last week, and they really didn't stretch their physical attributes too far if they're going to be up for the task of going all 4 quarters tonight.
Here's Hurd on the carry on 1st and 10, and he'll pick up about 7 yards from the line of scrimmage. Take another look here on the replay.
Yeah, if you look here off your screen, you see number 20. It was running off your screen there for the Trojans. That's Devin Knight. I mean, he's absolutely wrapping up Daydale. I mean, they're bringing the physicality to this second half. They're not going to let them just lay down easy and think that you're just going to keep running the ball right over us.
2nd and 5 coming up now for the Cougars. Adale saw something he did not like, so he's going to check the play with his blockers over here on the ends. Well, one goes in motion. A handoff to Hurd. Hurd will pick up maybe a yard or two.
And there's a lot of physicality going on after the play right now. I mean, we're seeing it on both sides of the ball that, I mean, as soon as that whistle's being blown, I mean, they're still wrapping up and they're playing through the whistle in most cases. So let's hope they can reel in the intensity here and make sure that we keep this a clean second half.
It looked like you saw Jay-Sean Adale had to come and get one of his linemen there to kind of get away from that pile after the play.
Yeah, I mean, it's just good leadership on his part, knowing that this moment, this possession right here is a lot bigger than just a 15-yard penalty.
Sends a man in motion. Adale's going to keep it himself. Great read by the defensive end, and he's going to stuff it at the line of scrimmage.
Pickup of little or no gain right there, so I think that's going to be about 4th and 4 for Munford. So, I mean, at this point, I don't believe they have a place kicker that can really get at the distance here, so I fully expect to see them go for it right here.
I think that was Devin Knight who was able to get through that line of scrimmage, get through those offensive linemen and wrap up Adale. You run that play so many times, eventually they'll figure it out, but it will be 4th and about 3, maybe 4 coming up here for the Cougars. They're going to go for it. Oh, and I think they got everybody on that one. Hard count got everybody.
It's going to be encroachment on the defense there. It's going to be a gain of 5 yards, a penalty 5 yards, but also that's a free first down right there for Munford, and now they're knocking on the door being in the red zone. I think they're going to mark it about the 22-yard line, so that's where they're going to get it 1st and 10 right here.
A nice little 5-minute drive going here for the Cougars to open up the third quarter. I think this is play number 9 coming up. Pitch out wide, across the 25 to the 20. Found the corner, 15. Ooh, dangerously close from scoring once again. Managed to get down inside the 10-yard line. Not enough to move the chains. Oh, it was enough to move the chains. It'll be 1st and goal coming up.
I think that was Hawkins there on the pitch. A nice firm pitch out to him, and he was able to catch it in stride and just get the corner right there and turn it upfield. And, I mean, impressive opening drive here by Munford. They're knocking a lot of time off the clock, and right now, I mean, I don't see anything preventing them from getting this in the end zone unless, I mean, they do it to themselves.
1st and goal coming up, 6:15 left to play here in the third quarter. Sends a man in motion, hands it off to Hurd. Hurd rumbles forward. Did he get through? Oh, they're going to say he fumbled.
I heard a whistle on the play too, though, so they may have already blown him dead before they threw the bag out.
And Millington says that they've got it, and they do at the 1-yard line.
Wow.
Referee comes in at the last minute and seems to kind of overrule the other referee.
I mean, that's just what happens. I heard he's fighting for those extra yards right there, just trying to he's knocking on the door. He can feel the end zone, just the heat radiating off from that goal line. And unfortunately, whenever he dives forward right here, you can see that he just. Let's see who had the hand in there. Was that number 41 for the Trojans?
Yeah, I believe it's 41 and 6 are the two bodies I see in there.
That may have been Lucas that got on there. We mentioned him earlier, the physicality he's bringing to it, and I mean, that's something you prepare for when you know you're facing a run-oriented offense, is get your hand in there and try to strip that thing out. I mean, we said it just before that play started. I mean, they're doing everything in their power to win this game, but right now the biggest threat they have is themselves.
Tommy Clifton will bring his offense out on the 1-yard line. He's under center. We've seen him play shotgun the entire game, but obviously can't do that in this situation. He'll dive forward for maybe a yard, just trying to create a little bit of space back there so maybe they can run their regular offense.
I think they're going to gift him a yard right there. I don't know how close he was actually getting it, but, I mean, just because you're starting on your own warn, you can't deviate from what you've been doing. I mean, they desperately need to generate some type of yardage right here and be able to get some points on the board.
5:30 left to play in the third quarter. That opening drive from the Munford Cougars took about it took over 6 minutes off of the clock here in the third. So held it for over half a quarter and couldn't put any points on the board because of it. There's Clifton, who escapes a shoestring tackle on the other side of the 15-yard line. Actually, they'll spot him right at the 15, it looks like. But more than enough to move the chains for a first down and take another look at the option play keeper by Clifton.
A good little 12-yard pickup. He's just fighting for yards like we've seen. A good shoestring tackle right there by Hawkins. So potentially preventing an even bigger yard of gain right there. So
from the 15 now, 4 wide receiver set, looking to throw down the far sideline, caught inside the 25-yard line, trying to make a move, and he's stuck over there. Getting a little help from his teammate, did the Munford Cougar defender.
Good stop route on the outside, just planted his feet, turned outside just like they're taught.
Great
good open tackle right there. I mean, fundamentally, you don't ask for anything different right there on that play.
Yeah, Derek Ross, the final Cougar to come in there and lay the lumber, but not before a pickup of about 5 yards, so 2nd and 5 coming up. 3 wide receiver set this time for Clifton. He's going to put it into the belly of his running back, Jerfonzo Smith. Smith will pick up maybe 2 or 3 on the second down play. So that'll bring up 3rd and about 2.
I mean, 2 great opening possessions so far right here, considering where Millington started with the ball. I mean, they're starting to gain some momentum, and the offenses have come out for both of these teams ready to respond.
Yeah, score here from Millington would make it a 10-point game if they got that extra point, but obviously a long way to go before we think about that. 3:45 left to play in the 3rd. And Clifton will keep it himself and dive forward. He's able to pick up the first down. It was a 3rd and 1 play, and I think he got maybe 1.5.
Did they give them 1.5?
Possible. Can't show it on the scoreboard, but you can mark it in between the hash marks.
Oh, yeah, let's do that. Absolutely.
So now 1st and 10 from the 26-yard line.
I really like the composure that both of these offenses come out. I can't reiterate that enough, that they've come out and they've sort of kept their wits about them, going back to what they know, and they're getting a lot of progress out of it.
And trying to keep the rhythm going is first down pass out to Eddie Macklin. Macklin will be spun around out of bounds. Picked up 2, maybe 3 yards on the first down pitch and catch. So 2nd and 8 coming up now from just inside the 30-yard line. Right about the 28 is where they're going to mark this one. Time ticking down, under 3 minutes left to play in the 3rd quarter. I had a first half that seemed to last forever, and this 3rd quarter has gone by very fast. There's the handoff on the end around. Escaped the first tackle, but couldn't get past the other 2. He dropped the football. Are they going to say he was down? The near side official is pointing towards the ground. The official that it happened right in front of didn't seem to mark it at all.
Yeah, those are really dangerous plays. I mean, he's a full head of speed right there, and then, of course, we see Carson come through and interrupt that play, but I believe...
Well, you know, he did lose that football, Ryan, because he still hadn't touched the ground.
Macklin's going to be hurt. They're not going to be able to get him off the field, and I believe the head ref was right there over the ball, and he called him down initially, so that play is going to stand as just a loss of yards. I think they're going to end up backing them up. Looks like a loss of 7 on the play, so it's going to be a 3rd and 15 for them. But right now, our main concern is just the health and safety of Macklin over there. He's been a big contributor for this offense, and we hate to see that.
I think I saw him grabbing at his leg. He was tapping his upper thigh area, so it could potentially be a cramp, but it also, you have to look at, wonder if it might be a groin injury, a pulled hamstring, or something of that nature. So either way, they are tending to him right now out on the field. 2:09 left to play here in the 3rd quarter. We're going to step aside for a quick break. Again, your score 34-17, Munford leading Millington Central. You're watching Prep Football here on Tubetown, live, local from Ritter Communications.
I am the new Reese's Outrageous Blizzard, only at DQ, and I live up to my name. I am Reese's Peanut Butter Cups and Reese's Pieces Candies. It's 2 kinds of Reese's in one Blizzard. Plus, brace yourselves, caramel. Outrageous! This is an outrage! Who's behind this? Does DQ know about this? Psst. Of course we do. Because I'm not fast food. I am fan food.
The kind of comfort you can always rely on. The hard-working performance that gets the job done. The dependable equipment that never lets you down. The tried and the true. Here's to reliability built into everything we do. Rely on Root. Get reliable comfort year-round with a new efficient HVAC system installed and serviced by our experienced professionals.
A 3rd and 15 coming up for the Millington Central Trojans. 1:55 left to play here in the 3rd quarter. Had to take a timeout from the game as Eddie Macklin had to be tended to. He's over on the sideline now, up and walking around. 4 wide receivers set for Tommy Clifton here on 3rd and long. Dropping back in the pocket, now he's flushed out. Steps up, and he is sacked. Lost the football. Scrambling for it. We're going to see who comes up with it.
I think that may have been Smith that got back there too.
And no call from the official, so it is still Millington football. They narrowly avoid a larger mistake there.
That's going to push them back another 12 yards, as you see right here. Excuse me. Just trying to evade pressure out there and trying to make something happen more than what he was really capable of doing, and the ball just slipped out. Fortunately, he had one of his own guys right there to fall on it. That's going to be Caleb Macklin that fell on top of the football.
Yeah, caught a break there, and they're going to go for it here on 4th and extremely long. Nope, they're going to punt it. Oh, it was blocked! And Tommy Clifton wisely just falls on top of it, so it's a safety. I don't know what kind of play call that was. You can't punt the ball when there's 5 steps between you and your offensive lineman.
I think that's the designed punt formation for them. So that was actually Josh Allred back to punt for them. So what we have a lot of times when you don't have the strength and power of a big booter back there as a punter, what they'll do is they'll line up, let's say 7, 8 yards back behind the center, and they just try to catch it and quick punt. I mean, they're not trying to flip field position all the way down the field, but they'll be fortunate to get to their own 40 or 50-yard line. But missed blocking assignment right there is going to lead to a free 2 points for Munford. Fortunately for them, though, I mean, he was able to fall back on top of it, because if Munford would have been able to fall back on top of it, now we're talking another 6 points. PAT makes it 7. I mean, well, right now things are really starting to spiral out of control for Millington.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, you want to avoid that altogether, because you're going to have to give the ball to Munford anyway. You're not getting it back, and yeah, you give them 2 points on top of it. So 36-17 is now the score.
Munford has really responded here in the second half. They've come out and they've faced some adversity getting down to the 1-yard line and not being able to convert, but so far they've still been able to keep up the intensity. And
well, now they've scored 30 unanswered points.
Yeah.
I mean, you go back to that first touchdown they scored at the beginning of the game, and then Millington was able to answer that. Well, Munford has not looked back since then. They took the lead and they have not relinquished it. And now a safety punt coming on. Dribble kick taken on the outside of the 45-yard line, and that's Jayshawn Adele. Adele's inside the 30, and he's knocked out of bounds, and Jayshawn Adele almost taking one to the house.
That's probably the problem with safeties in high school football, when you don't have a kicker or a punting team that can come out and really pin them deep. I mean, that ball didn't even make it past the 50-yard line. So he was able to field it on the bounce and take it, and it looks like the Cougars are already going to be in Millington's red zone.
Yeah, starting at the 12-yard line. Millington on their last drive starting at their own 1. That was the worst field position for either team to start tonight. And now Munford starting on the Millington 12. This is the best field position for either team starting tonight. 45 seconds remain here in the third quarter. And
this third quarter has absolutely flown by.
This is only the third possession of the third quarter.
I feel like the last minute of the second quarter lasted much longer than this last whole quarter.
Run right up the gut. Now ticking under 40 seconds left to play here in the third quarter, and it'll be a gain of about 4 yards on the ground there for the Cougars. They're not going to take any time rushing back to get on the ball. Here we go. Adele getting the play, and actually he's going to put up a hand and say, hold on, let's wait and see where time's at here. So now 20 seconds left here in the quarter. All of the Cougars are lined up except for Adele, and he's walking towards the left side of the tackle here.
I don't see a play clock. It's the first time I've looked for one, obviously, but
They're
we noticed
keeping
that last week, too, at the Covington field, the play clock not being at work.
1 second left, and we will head to the fourth quarter. 36-17 is your score. It has been all Munford Cougars since the second quarter. We're back with the fourth quarter of action here from Dr. Sid Witherington Stadium right after this. You're watching Prep Football on Tubetown, live local from Ritter Communications.
Southern Lawn and Pest. Our goal is to provide our customers with healthy, weed-free lawns, athletic field management, and pest-free homes while maintaining the highest level of customer service guaranteed. We use state-of-the-art products and equipment that are proven to deliver the results you want. Give us a call today at 476-8188 or visit us online at www.southernlawnandpest.com and let us help you get the lawn you've always wanted. We have an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau, and you can find us on Angie's List. Southern Lawn and Pest is the athletic field management provider for Munford High School football and is a licensed, bonded, and insured company.
I'd like to thank our second half sponsors tonight. Tonight's second half brought to you by Bartlett Pediatric Dentistry, the City of Munford, the Woodlands at Capitol Way, Henry O'Neill's Custom Painting, and Munford Pharmacy. Big shout out to all of those sponsors. Make sure you drop by and tell them thanks for sponsoring high school football on Tubetown.
We'd also at this time like to thank all of our viewers that are watching us on the Tubetown Facebook page, tuning in for this matchup, the coveted matchup between Munford and Millington. We appreciate you guys stopping by and giving us a moment of your time on a Friday night. Dimitri, Paige, Bradford, Pat, we see you all here, and thank you for stopping in with us.
2nd and 6 coming up here for the Cougars inside the 20-yard line. It's Adale keeping it himself, and he'll be brought down in the backfield. A great tackle there from behind by Millington's Hunter Lucas. So now 3rd and about 6 coming up. They don't have to score a touchdown because it's not a 3rd and goal situation. They just have to get inside the 10-yard line. It looks like the line to gain is roughly the 8. Just doing my math there, it would make it the 6 if it's at the 12 and there's 3rd and 6 to go.
That's good arithmetic right there, Andy.
There's the handoff to Hurd. Hurd rumbles inside the 10-yard line. Didn't quite get down to the 6, but he got to the 9, so that will bring up 4th and short coming up inside the 10.
And they are saying now that it is going to be 4th down.
I would imagine you just got to stick to your bread and butter and either hand it off to Toby Hurd and let him rumble forward for a couple, or you fake it and run it with Adale like they've done all night long.
Yeah, that's exactly what Dimitri Jones is saying on the Facebook right now. I mean, they've been running the same style of play over and over. Keith Martin, I see you commenting. Thanks for stopping in and being with us. And let's see what they do right here on 4th and 2. Looks like they got them jump once again. Encroachment. That's twice this half we've seen them do that.
Oh, they made them jump.
Yep, got a little antsy there trying to jump the snap on 4th and short. So guess what? That moves the chains, and it is now 1st and goal inside the 5-yard line.
That's huge, though, because both times they've got those encroachments here in the second half. It's been 4th and manageable. It's 4th and 4 on the last time, 4th and 2 or 3 here. And that simple 5 yards right there is getting a new set of downs, and it looks like there's, once again, nothing preventing Munford from getting in this in the end zone.
Yeah, both times that's happened, it's been in Millington territory. So Munford definitely capitalizing on that, trying to punch one in here from the 4-yard line. 1st and goal, sends a man in motion. Adale going to keep it himself, ran right into a couple of white jerseys there. And you love to see that sportsmanship by the Trojans helping him up there after laying the lumber on him.
Right here on the Ritter Communication replay, you can see Kyle Lindley was the one that met Adale in the hole and just pushed him back. Great form tackle. I mean, that's exactly how you teach it in Pop Warner, and drove him back. And then what do? You say, hey, I knocked your face in the dirt, but now let me pick you up so I can go do it again.
2nd and goal now coming up. Ball spotted still at the 4-yard line. See if they run the same play. I bet they hand it off to Hurd here. Man goes in motion. There's the fake. And there's Adale diving towards the end zone. He got in that time with 9:40 to spare here in the 4th quarter. What a game tonight for the Munford Cougars.
Adele reacted differently on that play than what we've seen him doing previously, where he actually put it in the gut of Hurd to sort of give the option or the illusion that he was going to hand it off right there. Something that Millington really just hasn't been able to key off on so far here throughout the ball game, because they've had a lot of success with it.
Extra point on the way. Snap. Holding the kick. And it is good. So the score now with 9:40 to play in the fourth quarter in the 2018 M&M Bowl. 43-17, Munford leading Millington Central. You're watching Prep Football on Tubetown, live, local from Ritter Communications.
Memphis International Raceway is a proud sponsor of the Munford High School Cougars. Go Cougars! Check out the schedule at racemir.com for all the details on great family-friendly racing. Now let's go Cougars!
Andy Maness and Ryan Short welcome you back to Munford, where the Cougars have extended their lead now, 43-17, capping off a nice little drive that strung over from the third quarter. A 4-yard touchdown rush by Jayshawn Adele.
You can see the kick-in returning teams getting flipped around here, having to do this from third to fourth quarter. They had to get aligned up on the right side of the field. Once again, we want to thank our second half sponsors for making all of this possible. Bartlett Pediatric Dentistry, the City of Munford, the Woodlands at Capitol Way, Henry O'Neill's Custom Painting, and Munford Pharmacy. And like we've mentioned multiple times tonight, thank you for stopping in on Friday night, spending a little bit of your time with you. We see your comments coming through on the feed right now, and I just want to echo something that Dimitri Jones is put in the comments here, that the style of offense that Munford runs, huge hit right there on the far side. The style of offense that Munford runs, as a defense, you have to be working downhill constantly. And Dimitri said it exactly right. The middle linebackers, the Mike and Sam linebacker, have to be king off those guards. If he steps forward or he starts to pull, they have to be working downhill. Same thing for the corners. If the corners see the opposite wingback start to come in motion on his side, instantly collapse. Right now they've got 7, 8 guys in the box. That needs to be 9 or 10 whenever the ball's snapped, because right now Munford's able to do whatever they want to on the offensive side of the ball.
Yeah, and they're having a hard time focusing in on one player, because obviously the dual threat is kind of limited between Adele and Hurd, but those are the two players that are doing the most damage.
Yeah.
You got other guys out on the field that they haven't really had many other chances to run around tonight.
But I mean, we said it last week. This is game 2 of the season. If in all the seasons that we all played, youth league sports, high school sports, if you had the privilege of playing college sports, if your season was defined by the first 2 games of the season, it would be completely different. I mean, we saw that last year with Covington. They lost their game to Munford last year. We were there last week, and Covington goes on to get to the state finals. I mean, that's the type of rebound both of these teams can make throughout the season.
Fakes the handoff. Clifton will speed ahead now, 35-30, 25-20. He's going to take this one all the way. Tommy Clifton with a burst of speed. And we do have a Millington Central Trojan down on the ground back here at the 50. But the Trojans are going to score a touchdown with 9:23 left to play here in the fourth quarter.
Millington said you can count us down, but we're definitely not out. I mean, you could tell that their offense had been sitting on that sideline for quite a while, and they came out and they knew the play they wanted to execute. Right now, I believe for Millington, that's going to be Jordan White, the senior offensive lineman that's down. It appears that's a cramp, stretching his foot. I mean, that's something that we had heard that Chris Michael had sort of spoke to last week, that in their game last week they were dealing with cramps and a little bit of fatigue. So hopefully that's all it is. That appears that's what it is, and he should be back on the field for the next possession.
Stretching that foot out, and the extra point will be on the way. Obviously, Millington's going to have a lot more work to do if they want to catch up here in the fourth quarter, but it may be too little too late.
Michael Brady in our Facebook chat right now, I think he really enjoyed that nice little 51-yard scamper right there by Clifton and Pat Rhodes. I didn't have the privilege of knowing Clifton as a young tot growing up, but I can only imagine the athleticism and just you can tell he's a leader out there.
Absolutely.
You can tell that the team their morale around them is boosted by the intensity that they know they're down 20 points, but that doesn't mean we're not going out there and trying.
And he's just a junior too, so they'll get him back next year as well. Tommy Clifton rushes it in from 51 yards out. And now the extra point about to be attempted by Rafat Morshid. Saw him boot in a 36-yard field goal earlier that bounced off a little help from the crossbar there in the middle. Let's see if he can boot this extra point through and make it a 24-43 game. There's the snap, there's the hold, kick is up. Did that one knuckle through there? It did.
You know, I want to go back to a play that happened at the end of the second quarter. So we had Covington came down and scored when they returned that kickoff for a touchdown, and there was an unsportsmanlike conduct right there in the end zone. And at that point, they elected to take the penalty on the PAT instead of on the ensuing kickoff. So what happened? Covington goes out, kicks the ball. Millington. I've got my head in last week, Andy. Just forgive me. But Munford is able to return. We've seen the boot that he has. I mean, I go back to that, and I was scratching my head then, and I'm scratching my head now. That could have been a huge difference maker going all the way back to the second half that could really affected this ball game.
Yeah, it's always the little things you look back to figure out, maybe if we'd done this differently, or maybe we'd ran this play instead of that play. But tonight it's been an overwhelming collection of plays that have just gone in the favor of Munford so far.
Yeah, if Millington wants to have any shot in this game, they need a 3-and-out right here. They need to be able to assert some type of dominance on defense, get the ball back in their offense hands, and they need another quick score because they have a lot of work to do. Oh, this is not good.
Now that one is going to be a touchback, so
how was that a touchback?
It went across the plane
he touched it.
But nobody has possession of it yet.
Oh,
so.
okay. Sorry, this is my first football game to announce. I don't know the rules.
It's all good. I'm not even going to sit here and act like I know the rules.
Well, that doesn't. I don't know. I guess it's since he did not have possession. I thought he had possession and carried it into the end zone. And so at that point, it would have been a safety instead of a. But nevertheless, it looks like we've got another injured player on the field.
Yeah, might have some more cramping going down over there on the far sideline, it looks like. Happens with 9:21 left to play here in the fourth quarter. So they're going to rush over and tend to him. Tell you what, let's go ahead and step aside for a quick break, and we'll come back with more fourth quarter action here from Munford. Your score 43-24, Munford leading Millington. You're watching Prep Football on Tubetown, live local from Ritter Communications.
Life doesn't always go as planned. So when a power surge affects your TV, or a breakfast mishap takes out your laptop, Guardware multi-device protection gives you peace of mind, knowing your devices will be repaired or replaced with just one call, and without breaking the bank. Protection you can trust. Guardware from Ritter. Enroll today to keep what matters most protected tomorrow.
Andy Manus and Ryan Short back here with you in Munford. Still got a Millington Trojan player who was down over on that far sideline, and finally getting them set up now. And it's Garrett Haley, freshman for the Trojans.
Again, our broadcast next week.
Looking through the Facebook feed once again, Michael and Dimitri and Pat having a conversation right now about the exact conversation we were having going into the break. Obviously, I don't have the knowledge of the rule book right in front of me. We're going to try to get that information, but it seemed to me, the way I perceived it, is that the ball landed. It was a live ball. The return man touched the ball, and in my eyes, that would mean some type of possession, or that there would be some type of return, and then the ball continued into the end zone, and that's where he eventually had possession. In my opinion, which you can measure that up to nothing. That should have been a live ball in the end zone, and he would either had to elect to bring it out, and they probably would have started at the 5 or 10 yard line, or he kneels it there and it's a safety. But I'm guessing in a high school they assume it if at any point it is in the end zone, they're going to call it a touchback.
There's the handoff to Hurd. And that play blown dead before it gets off the ground. False start will go to the Cougars. Now back it up 5 yards, 1st and 15. Boy, that third quarter went by lightning fast, and now the first 2 minutes of the fourth have been creeping along.
Yeah, we're seeing some fatigue on both sides. I'm looking, I can see, obviously we had a Millington player that we have 2 so far that have gone off, I believe, to cramps, and I can see on the Munford side I've got a few players that are favoring calves or favoring hamstrings, getting stretched out and hydrating, trying to leg out this last 9 minutes.
So another run by Hurd up the middle, gets to the 20-yard line.
He's going to get back to the line of scrimmage, but they still have quite a bit of work to do if they're going to try to run this clock out.
Well, they took off nearly half of the third quarter in one drive. So go back to that third quarter, they strung together a bunch of plays, and again it was like a 6-minute drive unofficially. And now with 8:50 left to play here in the fourth, they've got it 2nd and 10, and they are taking their time getting to the huddle and getting on the ball.
Yeah, the conversation going on in the chat right now is about the defensive alignment, and I know I've played against teams in high school, and then the college where I attended, they ran a similar style offense to Munford, and the defense alignment that we always saw was 2 D tackles that literally bear crawled left and right of the center. And so it was constantly a battle of keeping your ankles and your legs about you, because as soon as those D tackles would split the center and then the middle linebackers collapsing, it made for all types of chaos. And at this level, they're not that attention to detail, but Munford, they look at every single step that those linemen take to execute these plays. And tonight we've seen a great example of it.
Big stop there on 2nd down, a stop for a loss as Adele tried to keep it himself. He was struck down in the backfield. Now 3rd and 12 coming up with under 7:45 left to play. It's a pass over the middle, got a man at the 40, 45, 50, and brought down from behind. Everybody was looking in the backfield. Nobody knew who had the football. Lo and behold, it comes up in the arms of a Munford Cougar at the 45-yard line.
I feel like I just saw a unicorn.
More or less, Adele throwing the ball. He's now 2 for 2 in this game. And I want to say that was Kalen Boyd on the reception there, like number 28.
Yeah, that's 28. It's kind of hard to tell with those jersey guys.
Yeah, again, the digital camouflage not doing us many favors.
We try to look from the press box, and we don't spend a whole time looking at the monitor unless it's replays and stuff like that. But, 2 pass attempts, 2 completions so far in this game. I like the ability and the way they're able to offset that. They just bore you to death with the run game, and then all of a sudden you run a simple seam route up the middle. Okay, 35 yards.
Yeah, I hear a lot of people complain about boring football. You want to see teams air it out. Well, this is a perfect example of lulling a team to sleep. You literally, we've even been talking about it with our pal Dimitri there. You run the exact same play over and over and over and over and over again, and finally the defense is asleep, and then boom, you hit them with a 25-yard, as you said, seam route up the middle. And so now 2nd and 8 from the middle of the field. Here's Adele keeping it himself, trying to keep those legs churning. And actually, that was Jacoby Miguel on the carry there.
First time we've called his name tonight. And something else about that pass play, it's the timing of the pass play as well. They're not down 20 right now trying to go a Hail Mary and get a last-second touchdown so they can try to make a comeback. They're up 20 right now, and they were just in a jam. We had a long 3rd down. We had to convert. All right, let's throw a pass play in there. And typically the defenses aren't going to expect it. You feel like with this style of offense, like we've been saying, that the pass play is reserved for a last-ditch effort.
3rd and 6. Let's see what they draw up here. It's a
good misdirection.
Little reverse
there he goes.
option. It was a misdirection at the 20, the 15, 10, 5. He's in.
They executed that perfectly right there.
Travion Hawkins taking that one 42 yards.
They call that a tackle trap. You see right here the misdirection. They didn't do the double handoff, but simply the left tackling guard pulled to the right. If the linebackers and the DBs are not watching their assignments, you lose the ball in the backfield, and he just simply marches straight into the end zone. Another 6 points for Munford.
With 5:38 to go.
Extra point on the way. I believe he snuck that one through, and he did. So halfway to 100 here with 5:38 left to play in the fourth quarter. Cougars have blown this one wide open, answering another Millington Trojan touchdown. 50-24 is your score. You're watching Prep Football on Tubetown, live local from Ritter Communications.
How much bandwidth will satisfy your home's hunger? The average household now has more wireless devices in use a day than ever before, including TVs, laptops, tablets, and smartphones. HD streaming and gaming can use large amounts of data and slow down speeds for other users. The more devices you use, the more bandwidth your home needs. So make sure you have enough bandwidth. Get up to 100 megs with internet from Ritter Communications. It's the speed you need to power all your devices. Call today.
Andy Manus and Ryan Short back here with you in Munford. Cougars halfway to 100. They put up 50 on the Millington Central Trojans.
They were just trying to get revenge for what Covington did for them last week.
Makes sense.
It wasn't much of a competition for most of that ball game, but they came out tonight, and we talked about it last night. We had a lot of people that were commenting and talking to us on Facebook about the Munford team and how they looked and how they're young and how this is going to just run the rest of the season because we just don't have it this year. Well, tonight's a completely different team.
That's it. You took the words right out of my mouth. A completely different team on the football field here tonight in Munford. Nowhere near the same team we saw last week.
This is going to be dangerous right here.
Kickoff taken at the 15 across the 30 now. Now bouncing to the outside across the 35-40. Down the far side. Sideline, knocked out of bounds right about midfield near the 50-yard line. I think they'll spot him about the 43-yard line. Hard to tell where he went out with all the jerseys over there, but pretty good field position here for the Trojans as they have got 5:25 to try to string together some momentum for next week because, barring any type of major miracle here, I don't think that they're going to come out on top of this one. So they're basically trying to put some things together here for their game next week at Germantown.
Looks like we're still going to have Clifton come out as quarterback. I was curious to see if they'd have any personnel switches under 6 minutes to go in the fourth quarter, down 26. But I'd like the move here. Keep your starters in, get some more reps, get a little bit more experience under your belt.
This will be the fourth year in a row that Munford has beat Millington. There's a handoff running to the right. There's Smith. Smith across the 50. And he is on the other side of the 45-yard line, right about the 42, I think is where they're going to spot him.
Looked like they brought him down by the back of his jersey like a horse collar right there. But you love the intensity that he's still trucking for yards after that first contact right there. He was able to get it at least into Munford territory.
Smith, they're back in the backfield, standing next to Clifton. Everybody goes. It's a go route going for the end zone. Just overthrew him. Had a step on his man. As a matter of fact, both wide receivers over there on that side of the field had their man beat, but Clifton just couldn't lay it in there.
That's the crazy thing about having to anticipate where the ball is at. When Clifton released that ball, at the time when he threw it, Smith did not have a leg up on that DB covering him on the far side, but it's trust that your receiver's running that go route, and he's going to blow past him. And if he lays it right in his hands right there, that's going to be a touchdown. But something else you got to consider for Smith's sakes, he's not turning around and making eye contact with Clifton. He's turning around and he's finding and spotting that ball in the air. So chances are that, you see it at the pro and college level. That's a very difficult thing to do for a high school athlete.
Timeout called on the field. Munford wants to discuss some things. Maybe didn't like what they saw on defense, but either way, with 4:54 left to play in the fourth quarter, your score is 50-24. Munford over Millington Central We're back with more fourth quarter action right after this. You're watching Prep Football on Tubetown, live local from Ritter Communications.
No matter what kind of business you own or operate, you need to keep it connected. Ritter Communications delivers the fastest business internet speeds available at a price that won't slow you down. Ritter offers reliable 24-hour service with network monitoring, along with the scalable options your business needs to grow. And we do it all on our own fiber optic network. The choice is yours, and so is the savings. Connect to something better. Call or visit ritterbusiness.com today.
Welcome back to Munford here at Dr. Sid Witherington Stadium. It is 2nd and 10 for the Millington Central Trojans. There's a handoff to Smith. Smith breaks through the middle. He's at the 35-30, and he's going to take that one to the house. Yes, sir. Jerfonzo Smith taking it 43 yards. He might have been untouched the whole way.
Yeah, that's something that we've seen from Millington here in the second half. They've got two rushing attempts. As you see the one right here, obviously by Smith, going untouched, but then the 51-yard run earlier by Clifton, two big plays that sort of give them a little bit of jolt to life here in the second half. I mean, I don't expect this. If the last 60 seconds of the first half or anything like the last 4.5 of this one can be, who knows what we're in store for.
We'll see you next week. Kind of took a little bit of time there in that first half. So 50-30 is the score. Extra point on the way, and it'll go through. So now oh no, beg your pardon, it will not go through. Difficult to see from this angle, but the referees have the better viewpoint than we do. So 50-30, the score will remain with 4:42 left to play in the fourth quarter. Go ahead and step aside for another quick break. We're back with more here on Tubetown, live local from Ritter Communications.
Advanced Pools, where your pool is our pool. Here at Advanced Pools, we have been serving the Mid-South for over 25 years. We design and build beautiful custom pools and spas, and we pride ourselves in transforming your existing pool into your dream pool. We offer a full line of services, maintenance, and in-store supplies. We take pleasure in creating the backyard living experience that you and your family deserve. Have an idea for your backyard oasis? Give us a call at 837-7867. Visit us online at www.advancedpoolcare.com or come see us at 201 Commercial Drive in Atoka. Advanced Pools, where your pool is our pool.
Andy Mangus and Ryan Short back here with you in Munford after that quick break. 50-30 is your score, 4:42 left to play here in the fourth quarter. It's a 20-point lead for the hometown Munford Cougars over their rival, the Millington Central Trojans. Millington just capped off a short little drive there with a 43-yard touchdown run from Jerfonzo Smith. Now they're going to kick it away, and I would wager you're going to see a onside kick here.
Yeah. No, they're going to go with the pooch kick. I don't know where he's going.
I don't either, but he's still on his feet across the 40-yard line.
If we can get the opportunity to pull up our schedule once again, next week we're going to be in Blytheville, starting our series of Arkansas games here on Tubetown, brought to you by Ritter Communication. We got Osceola at Blytheville last week. I don't know if I misspoke right then, but that should be a great matchup there in the northeast part of Arkansas.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, especially you consider the fact that Osceola and Blytheville, not too far apart. So that's a pretty good rivalry game between those two. I would imagine a lot of history between those two teams, and you got a lot of people that know each other. But looking at the rest of the year, we got a lot of good rivalry games on our schedule here. Win at West Memphis, and of course, go down to October 5th, EPC at Mark Tree. Cannot wait for that one. 4:31 left to play here in the fourth quarter. Munford with the football on their own 40-yard line. Here's Toby Hurd taking a carry.
Speaking of our upcoming schedule and just the games to come, we're going to be broadcasting all of those right here on the Tubetown Facebook page. So if you're in the game right now and you're watching the broadcast on your phone or on a tablet, whatever you may be, hit the like button, leave us a comment, let us know that you're watching, where you're from, if you're watching from outside of the state, outside of the country. I know earlier, I think someone was joking, but they said South Korea.
Well, we've had some viewers from Japan before, so had some overseas travelers wanting to keep up with their home team. So we've had some had some people watch from overseas before. Another handoff this time. Again, I believe it was Hurd on the carry, picking up another maybe 4 yards on the ground, so about 3rd and 3, maybe 3rd and 4 coming up with 3:33 left to play here in the fourth quarter. Lots of 3s and 4s going on here.
Yeah.
And now we've got a timeout out on the field with 3:30 left to play. That timeout is going to go to Millington. So each team has burned a timeout here in the second half. So each team with 2 remaining. We're going to step aside for another quick break. We'll be back with more of the fourth quarter here in Munford. You're watching Prep Football on Tubetown, live local from Ritter Communications.
I am the new Reese's Outrageous Blizzard only at DQ, and I live up to my name. I am Reese's Peanut Butter Cups and Reese's Pieces Candies. It's 2 kinds of Reese's in one Blizzard. Plus, brace yourselves, caramel. Outrageous! This is an outrage! Who's behind this? Does DQ know about this? Psst. Of course we do. Because I'm not fast food. I am fan food.
Andy Manus and Ryan Short back here in Munford. 3:30 left to play here in the fourth quarter. 3rd and 4 coming up for the Cougars. Adale under center. See if he runs it or hands it off to Hurd. He's going to run it. Fakes the pitch. And he's driven backwards.
I just love seeing that. I don't know why. Just the gamesmanship of like deking the end, give him just a little pump fake. I mean, obviously it didn't result in anything. He still lost yards or maybe got back to the line of scrimmage.
And now we got a Cougar who's down on the field. And
I think that's Adele.
3:08 left to play here in the fourth. So while they're tending to him, we're going to take another look at our schedule coming up here for the 2018 football season. So we mentioned the Osceola Blytheville game. Valley View and Rivercrest will be a pretty good one as well. Rivercrest with a new field, Ryan. So, you know, they historically have played in what's called the Cotton Patch. And if you've ever been to the Cotton Patch, you know why it's called the Cotton Patch. It is literally sitting in a field of cotton. But no longer. They have redone the stadium, got some turf down, and can't wait to go there.
I think later in the season, I think it's the October 12th date, we're going to have another trip to Munford here. I believe we have another matchup in Tennessee that we're going to be visiting later on in the season. I believe that's the correct date, but look for that as the season progresses, that we're going to visit Tennessee once again later on down the season.
Yeah, and make sure, again, you like and follow our page here on Tubetown. And, again, want to remind everybody that our second half sponsors tonight are Bartlett Pediatric Dentistry, the City of Munford, the Woodlands at Capitol Way, Henry O'Neill's Custom Painting, and Munford Pharmacy. Again, a big thank you to all of you who helped make tonight's game possible.
I've got a correction on what I stated a moment ago. On October 26th, we're going to be back in Munford for the Brighton-Munford matchup. And I haven't seen any scores from their games tonight, but that at that point in the season, we'll have a few more games under our belt. We'll have a few possible playoff contentions to be fighting for at that point. So I really look forward to visiting back here in a few weeks.
It's always fun to come here in Munford. I love the way that this community rallies around their football team, and you know, I love watching their band too. We don't often talk about the bands at the high school level, but Munford, man, your band is amazing. I mean, they've won national championships. I'm not telling you anything you don't already know.
You got to give credit to the band, man.
That's right.
Come on.
Got a new quarterback in for the Cougars. It'll be Jackson O'Neill under center right now. Sends a man in motion.
We saw him earlier in the game, too. We saw him for a couple plays.
We did. Adale had to come off, so he has been in tonight.
Yeah, and they're not moving. Here's a pitch out coming.
Going to come to the near side right here. That's going to be somebody that we've called already tonight, Hawkins, that came around the end there. We talked about last week. He got a lot of reps, sort of when the game was out of reach against Covington. He came in and he really lit a fire, and they ended up getting 2 scores in the second half of that game. But good little carry right there by Hawkins, being able to get the first down.
And how good does it feel for the Cougars and Coach Markle if you turn around and you got kicked in the face last week for game number 1, and then you start tonight's game with a pick 6 on the opening drive, and you did struggle for a brief period in tonight's game, but it has been overwhelmingly in favor of the Cougars as they run here on 1st and 10, and a flag will, I believe, bring this one back. I think it's going to be a false start or perhaps a illegal player in motion.
Yeah, that's going to happen when you get a new quarterback in the game with his cadence and just his rhythm and how he goes through things. So that's not expected. But you're exactly right what you said a second ago, that they have been able to rebound since last week, and they're able to. It just looks like they've grown so much. I mean, the rhythm, the offense is a lot smoother than what it was last week. They've been able to generate more opportunities. So it's good to see that Munford has come out here and sort of gained their legs about them. And after this game, if all holds true right here, Munford and Millington will be 1-1 going on to their Week 3 matchup.
Well, there's a handoff to the left side. They'll pick up maybe a couple of yards. And you definitely don't want to take anything away from Millington either, because honestly they have not played a poor game whatsoever. They haven't really made too many mistakes. I mean, I know that they've had a couple of turnovers tonight. Obviously you don't want those at all, but as far as penalties go, bad penalties, that hasn't happened to them. They've just simply been outplayed.
Yeah, it just seems lick for lick. So we have 2 kickoffs returned for touchdowns, 1 for either side. We've had unsportsmanlike conducts for each side. Mm-hmm. And then we go back to the game, and it's sort of tick for tat, but at the end of the day, the Cougars have 50 points on the board, and the Trojans only have 30.
That run off the right side gets back to the original line of scrimmage. It was Baker Osborne on the carry there. And so that'll bring up 3rd and maybe 11. 1:11 left to play here in the ball game. And somebody appears to have called a timeout. I haven't had that signal yet on the field, but we've got one with 1:11 left to play in the game, and it's Millington. Millington wants to call a timeout. So they burn their final timeout again with 1:11 to play in the 4th quarter. It'll be 3rd and 10 when we come back for the Munford Cougars. You're watching Prep Football on Tubetown, live local from Ritter Communications.
The kind of comfort you can always rely on. The hard-working performance that gets the job done. The dependable equipment that never lets you down. The tried and the true. Here's to reliability built into everything we do. Rely on Root. Get reliable comfort year-round with a new efficient HVAC system installed and serviced by our experienced professionals.
Andy Manus, Ryan Short back here with you in the final minute and 11 seconds of the 2018 M&M Bowl. 50-30 is your score. It's been Munford Cougar dominance all night tonight. 3rd and 10 coming up. And off up the middle, and a gain of about 7 yards, so it'll be 4th and 3 coming up as Jackson O'Neill hands it off once again.
I'll be interested to see right here if Munford lets the play clock. Obviously, we can't see it. I think it was 1:08 on the clock whenever they blew the whistle there. So roughly they could run it down to about 32 seconds before they could have to snap the ball. I'd be interested to see here, though, if they take the delay game or they may be just taking a knee right here to run out the clock.
May try to go for it here. Let's see. They're going to hand it off. Nope, keeps it himself. It's O'Neill across the 40-yard line down to the 36 rather. And that should do it. 28 seconds left here in the ball game. A first down moves the chains for the Munford Cougars. And here comes Jay-Sean Adele back out on the field. Guess what? He's going to wrap this one up. Tie a bow on it and
They're going to get in victory formation, and he's going to be the one to take it home for him. Rightfully he should. He's done a lot for his team tonight.
What a completely different Munford Cougar football team we have seen here tonight on their home field in the 2018 M&M Bowl. And
we got a flag on the play.
Are you kidding me right now?
Yeah, I think one of the Millington Trojans may have been trying to bear crawl through the line. His assignment is to do so, but I think it resulted in some pushing and shoving back and forth there on the offensive line.
Well, that just gives Jay-Sean Adele the pleasure of taking one more knee. Oh, we're going to get an unsportsmanlike conduct here on the Cougars. So.
Yeah, I think it was one of those things where who got caught.
Yeah, absolutely.
At this point, it's frustrating, obviously, but all it results is one more play.
So Munford, again, will be taking on Overton next week. They have a road game, and Millington hits the road as well once again. They'll take on Germantown. And that knee will seal it. 50-30 is the final score of the 2018 M&M Bowl. Munford prevailing over their rivals, the Millington Central Trojans. And quite a game for Coach Nick Markle and the Cougars. Once again, just a completely different showing from this team that we saw last week versus Covington.
Yeah, it really is. Just we mentioned it early on. You could see the growth that this team had from last week. The execution, they changed a few things offensively as far as the replays, getting Adele to keep the ball as they run that that option read on the near side. And they controlled the line of scrimmage. They handled themselves on defense. They obviously gave up a few plays that resulted in a lot of yards, but it didn't break them tonight. So congrats to the Cougars.
Congrats to the Cougars indeed. We're going to go ahead and step aside for a quick break. We'll come back and tie a bow on this one ourselves and wrap it up. We're back after this. You're watching Prep Football on Tubetown, live local from Ritter Communications.
Southern Lawn and Pest. Our goal is to provide our customers with healthy, weed-free lawns, athletic field management, and pest-free homes while maintaining the highest level of customer service guaranteed. We use state-of-the-art products and equipment that are proven to deliver the results you want. Give us a call today at 476-8188 or visit us online at www.southernlawnandpest.com and let us help you get the lawn you've always wanted. We have an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau, and you can find us on Angie's List. Southern Lawn and Pest is the athletic field management provider for Munford High School football and is a licensed, bonded, and insured company.
Welcome back to Munford, Tennessee. The Munford Cougars on their home field tonight here at Dr. Sid Witherington Stadium pull out a victory against their rivals, the Millington Central Trojans, in the 2018 M&M Bowl. Andy Maness and Ryan Short back here to wrap things up for you. Again, the final score 50-30. Ryan, you look at the first play of the game, or the first drive of the game for the Millington Central Trojans. They had a pick six that was returned to the house by Jesse Savage, and even though Millington was able to, string together a couple of drives and put some points on the scoreboard, once Munford found their rhythm, there was no stopping that train. And I know we're not in Atoka, but that was definitely a train that ran through this field tonight.
Yeah, you felt, I would say up until when the first quarter ended, you felt like this is fixing to be just an absolute shootout. We're fixing to see a football game that's going to go down as one of many of this basically a just heated rivalry is going to just unfold into a new chapter and maybe the turning of the new leaf. But as soon as we get into the second quarter, we start to see the momentum grow for Munford, and they never really looked back. We talked about how the end of that second quarter really spoke volumes on how the rest of the game would play out. You see Millington return at kickoff, and you thought, okay, here we go. Gear up, buckle in. It's going to be a great second half. And then next thing you know, 30 seconds left on the clock, Munford does the same thing. Just an absolute heck of a performance by Munford tonight. Obviously, the Trojans need to regroup, and they're going to be on the road next week, and hopefully they can regroup and take care of business.
That's right. We'll be on the road next week once again as well. Make sure you mark your calendars. We'll be in Blytheville, Arkansas next week for our first Arkansas game of the 2018 football season. Nice little rivalry game between the Osceola Seminoles and the Blytheville Chickasaws. Make sure you tune in next Friday and join us for that one. Meanwhile, Munford hitting the road to take on Overton next week, and they'll be riding in high after tonight's victory. Millington, however, will have to pick themselves up as they hit the road for a game against Germantown next week. So have to find a way to bounce back from this loss here tonight. But again, don't want to take anything away from the Millington Central Trojans because they played a great game. This one was a lot of fun to be a part of, and we certainly appreciate you guys for being a part of us, or part of this at home with us. And make sure we want to thank our sponsors as well: W&W Home Builders, Drain Go, Hometown Realty, the Town of Atoka, Homer Skelton Ford of Millington, also Bartlett Pediatric Dentistry, the City of Munford, the Woodlands at Capitol Way, Henry O'Neill's Custom Painting, and Munford Pharmacy. Big thanks to those sponsors who helped make tonight possible. Thanks to all of our camera operators, our guys working in the production truck as well, and of course our executive producer Marcus Carlton. For Ryan Short, I'm Andy Manus signing off for this Friday night. You guys have a great, safe evening. We'll see you next Friday in Blytheville. You're watching Prep Football on Tubetown, live, local from Ritter Communications.